3, 2, 1, and we're live! Hello, welcome back to the INVICTUS stream. My name, as always, is Mr. Harlan Guthrie, and I am here with Miss Joe Fallak. Elven Ear Joe, we call her around these parts. Mr. Justin Thomas Heineken James.
Hello.
And the one and only Mr. Mycl Barber.
I am alone here. That's exciting.
I see your little Sifu costume in the back, my friend. That's exciting. Are you missing a little bit of feng shui?
I am, but I thought it'd also be like one of those little Easter eggs that we can throw in.
That's what we do here. We do little Easter eggs. My background is filled with little secrets and hidden. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the INVICTUS stream. Yeah. That's right, it's Wednesday night. We are so excited and happy to be here. We're going to be bringing you part 2 of an extremely exciting mini campaign that Joe has put together for us. A little campaign that we're calling the Iron Storm, aka Yak Attack. That's right. Last week, the three of us foolhardily went towards our goal in a very dangerous way. What happened that week? Was it something bad, Justin?
Yeah. So, heroically, me and Mycl decided to go check out some a stir in the night, and Harlan's character lazily stayed in his tent sleeping.
Yeah, it was my fault. And then what happened when the giant tried to crush you?
Oh, well, Mycl almost died.
That's right. But we are back tonight with part 2 to treat those giants with a little bit of respect and hopefully kick their asses. This is, of course, an 18+ game, so if you're not comfortable with no-no words such as shit and fuck and poo, then you go ahead and you close the video. But before you close that video, you make sure to like it on YouTube. It's what gives Mycl his food pellets. He's sort of like a giant rodent, and every like gives him a little food pellet to consume.
Please, more.
Of course, subscribe as well if you haven't subscribed already. When you like the video, it gives him his food pellets, and all makes us feel good about ourselves. But the best way you can make us feel happy and loved is by joining the Facebook group. If you go to Facebook and you type in the INVICTUS stream and you search for the group and you join it, you get to join our little community of friendly folk and little people and gnomes and elves and like. And it's a place where we get to hang out and talk and share stories and ideas. And it is something that brightens my day and each of our days. It's something that we look forward to. So join that, because it's what makes us family and friends in a way. When you join the group, you also, and when you post in the group, you run the risk of winning the MVP. And when you win the MVP, it makes it sound like a bad thing. The MVP is the most valuable post. It's the post throughout the week that we ascend outside of the rest. We bring it up and we honor it with gilded XP, something that you can spend during the game to affect the way the game is played. You can either hinder or help the players. So this week, I would like to announce a very fantastic post that is going to win MVP from a good friend of ours, someone who's been around for a long time. This week's MVP goes to Mr. David Johns for his post asking about the history of a little mouse guard character, a game that Joe desperately wants to play, actually.
I was a big fan of the Redwall series of novels when I was coming up, so the idea of little mice running around and being heroic is very adorable.
It's adorably cute, and I also like The Secret of Nymph, so let's do that at some point. But David Johns, well done. You win XP, most valuable post. That's all it takes, guys. It's about taking a second thinking, hey, what would the community enjoy? What sort of brings that sense of community? And so many people commented and shared their ideas on it. So thank you and well done. I wanted to do a quick shout out too to a new partner that we're working with. Mr. Leland House out of Alabama is a friend of the stream, and he has sort of gifted us a little bit of a managerial role in one of his pages, Pen and Paper RPG. They're on Facebook. If you like Pen and Paper RPGs, and I assume you do since you're watching us play one, go ahead and like his page. We'll be making posts there every once in a while. And if you're from his page, Pen and Paper RPG, hello, welcome, stick around, join the Facebook group. Yeah, how's it going? The hand wave is what sold that.
Thank you.
Hello. So come and join the Facebook group, like our Facebook page, do whatever you want, hang out, crack a beer. I was gonna say smoke, but don't smoke. Smoking's bad for you. Don't. No one. Look at all these beers on screen.
Woohoo!
Holy shit! I got a coffee. I never drink on stream, ever. except for the Christmas special. So anyway, like the Pen and Paper RPG page, and a huge shout out and a thank you to Lee House for giving us a little bit of a leg up.
Thanks, Lee.
Thanks for the leg.
Finally, we are just around the corner from the start of October. On October 1st, we are switching gears, so to speak. We are hardcore pushing for the charity that we are working with, Extra Life. And Extra Life works with the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals to raise money for children in need. And we have raised over $2,000 in support. So fantastic job to the community for doing that first and foremost. But October 1st, it's going to kick. We're going to have a lot more rewards. I have about 6 little tidbit videos that are going to be coming out. One really funny one about breaking the mold with Mycl Barber and David McDowell. McDowell, I apologize. And a little bit of painting scenery and things like that. We also have the Hot Ones Challenge video that's going to be coming out on November 4th, and a lot of really great things that are all going to be coming out on November 4th. You'll see teasers and trailers kind of leading up to them. But the month is about raising money, guys, and it's going to be maybe annoying at times, but the cause is so worth it. It's something that we so strongly believe in. And starting next week, starting this Sunday actually, which is the 1st, we are going to be kicking it into overdrive. You're going to see a trailer promoting the Extra Life and what you can do to help and what you can donate, and anything you can give is extremely appreciated. So a round of applause for those who have donated and for those who are going to donate again or for the first time. It's so easy to get heartfelt and teared up about these types of things. It's quite a sad world out there, really, but not tonight. Tonight, we dungeon delve. I am ready to kick some ass, take some names, and fuck some shit up. So without further ado, why don't we jump right into the credits sequence for the first time, going in this order, purposefully, mind you. You guys mute yourselves while I launch the video. And... Welcome back to Yak Attack! Take it away, Joe.
20-foot-tall iron doors in the mountainside, just north of the Yak folk village, swing open to reveal a rough-hewn passageway, now only half blocked by an iron portcullis. From the room beyond comes the sound of rushing water from the nearby river. The passage leads to a cold, dark, and vast chamber with a 50-foot-high ceiling, its floor pocked deeply with an 80-foot diameter, achingly black, and empty shaft in the very middle of the room. An iron rig is bolted to the pit's circular rim, attached to which an iron platform extends like a diving board. Iron chains, the links of which are as big as your torso, descend into the deepness of this pit. The rattle and clink of these huge and rusted links is mechanical, regular. They move for 30 seconds, and stop for 30 seconds before moving again, a perfect balance between stasis and work. On the rim of this pit, we see our heroes. There is a large half-orc named Rust. There are 2 drow, Necro and Ortho, variously tall and short, and they look down into this pit. There is an opening in the southeast wall of this circular chamber through which they can hear more than see the waterfall beyond. Across the axle of a water wheel they know to be churning through the white eddies of a mountain river. The wheel is attached to this iron rig and its chains. What would you 3 like to do?
Rust eyes the room and sort of studies it, and in proper D&D etiquette, I will give a perception check for anything that might not have been just explained to us.
Yeah, of course. I won't even make you roll for it, just the intent for you to investigate the room. You notice that there is bolted to the northeast wall of the room, there's a rectangular metal plate with a 3-foot-long iron lever protruding from it. The lever is mounted about 10 feet above the floor and is in the up position.
But the elevator is rising and falling, correct?
Yeah.
So this might be, so I turn to the others. That might be for the portcullis. Because it's still shut, technically. Or we wedged it open, didn't we?
Yeah, you just opened it with your hands. Yeah.
That would be my only guess, right? Muted friends?
The northeast wall wouldn't lend itself to a portcullis switch. I feel like it's probably for the lift.
Well, the lift is... Oh, you mean like just an on-off switch for the lift? That's possible, yeah. Well, the only reason I was thinking is he checked everywhere for the portcullis opening, and there was nothing on the outside and the inside. So I don't know who the fuck...
Well, there's another exit leading out of here, right? Into the waterfall?
So there's essentially just a bored hole through the wall through which the axle of the water wheel passes in order to operate the mechanism. And then there's also a door on the the western side of this circular room, which you, I guess it was Necro who investigated it, and there's a staircase.
Yes, and that's actually what I wanted to ask. Just because, unfortunately, the map's a little fuzzy on that detail. Do the stairs go down, like, sort of, I guess, curving?
That was an interesting word.
Right? What way?
Or do they go down curving to the left?
I will say they curve to the right, clockwise. It is a spiral staircase with a 10-foot wide stone step descending. And I will also say that the steps are 3 feet tall.
Ooh.
Yes.
Giant steps.
So here's my thought on this. Is the elevator going up and down is a regular occurrence in that sense that they might be expecting that when people come up and down, so there might have more surveillance than, say, the stairs. And the other thing that's nice about the stairs going that way is most people being right-handed, our sword arms are free, whereas theirs are going to be towards the wall.
That's actually
we'll have the advantage.
Yeah, right.
Which is why normally stairs go the other way when they go up in castles.
I remember that. Yes, but the only thing I would say is if the lift is constantly moving, it would shroud the idea that we'd be moving down there. Meaning, if they were watching the steps or listening for the steps, they would hear our heavy feet. In non-Rust speak, the fact that it's constantly moving, like if the elevator was on-off and we had to actually operate it, I'd be like, yeah, let's not fucking touch it. But the fact that it's constantly moving might actually be a benefit to us. Like, how large is the platform? Could you hang underneath it? Could you... just to get an idea of it, it's just a big round sort of up and down, or? So
as you are waiting and discussing what you might like to do, the elevator itself is coming up, and so you gain insight into what the elevator looks like, how it's constructed. Suspended from the rig that I described, the rusted iron chains hold a 60-foot diameter circular platform made from oak beams held together by iron bands and rivets. So inside of an 80-foot diameter pit, there's a 60-foot diameter elevator platform, and then the rigging acts as kind of like a ledge, or I call it a diving board that allows you to gain access to the elevator.
Like a plank.
Yeah.
Okay.
The lift doesn't really matter.
Sorry?
Your internet's being all crazy.
Yeah, I didn't hear.
But it does give him a nice Stephen Hawking sort of...
I agree with you. For the most part. I sound like a pirate. I guess... it's tough because the stairs sort of make the most sense.
Other than it'd be very fatiguing.
Yeah, 3 feet for you too. 3 feet for both actually is a lot. Not to mention there's no real...
3/4 of my body height.
There's no real retreat either, If we get stuck on a step, it's not like we can turn around. I mean, to scale it back up, it's going to be climb checks all the way. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards the platform. Or is there a way that you could transform and ride the platform down as a rodent or something like that, just to sort of scout what we're dealing with?
I can definitely do that.
Yeah, because I'm thinking if you take the platform down as something other than yourself, we might also be able to find maybe a spot. I mean, it's 20 foot from the wall is what you're saying, correct, GM?
So
like the 60-foot platform is here, and the 80-foot is the diameter of the hole, meaning that.
Correct.
Just to let you know what I'm thinking is that if that platform is moving down, and there's say a small cave on the side of the wall, it's a 20-foot jump to get to that.
It would be a 10-foot jump because there's 10 feet on either side. So 60
right.
plus 10 plus 10 is 80. So you'd have to jump 10 feet if there's no ledge that would permit you.
I'm a half-orc, not a mathematician. Perfect. Okay, so that gives us an idea. And 10 foot's not so bad. So why don't you try that, Necro? Why don't you transform and write it down and see what we're up against? Or actually, I guess technically we haven't long rested, have we? That's
no, we have not.
Damn rules.
We did have the short rest, I believe.
Can you guys hear me? Am I okay right now?
Now you're funky, but you're here. Can I'm gonna walk to the edge of the chasm. Is it well lit? Is it complete darkness?
It's total darkness.
Yeah.
So you can, I mean, I guess as the elevator platform is approaching the lip, we'll say it's still on its way up. You can see far, 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 far down below a prick of light.
And up, is it just a beam straight to the ceiling?
Correct.
Okay. Justin, you're still futzing out a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So Necro, you have no ability to change currently.
No, I do, because we did have the short rest before coming in here.
Let's do that.
So you have, I believe, one more wild shape before you would need to rest again.
I believe so.
To me, I think it's worth it.
All right. Once again, Rust, you're wise.
All right. Spider again?
Yep.
Okay.
Just me and my spider head.
Aww.
Like the thing from The Thing.
Oh, no. Yeah, no.
So Necro walks to the center of the platform, performs some kind of gesture that you're now familiar with, where she becomes Spider Girl and turns into her spider form. As she waits about 30 seconds before the platform starts to move again. And I will continue narrating what happens for Necro alone, so no metagaming.
Metagame, because I won't remember.
Damn it.
Just assume I filled you in.
I think she means that we can't influence what you choose to do.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, you can't act on what I tell until she comes back up.
Which is fair.
And,
in the meantime, can Rust and can Ortho and myself find a place maybe within that small stair room to sort of just back against a wall and at least be relatively hidden?
Oh, definitely, yeah. So it's going to be about half an hour before you see Necro again. Perfect. If she stays on the elevator. Okay. Necro, as the dark hole into the surface room recedes above you, so too does the sound of the churning mountain river. You descend at a steady pace, about a foot a second, until you're some 3 stories down. The elevator platform stops suddenly at another gantry, similar to the rigging above, reaching out above the open pit to connect snugly with the elevator's oak flooring. And beyond the gantry, a tunnel yawns. So essentially, you've come down 1 level, and there's a tunnel.
Is there light coming from the tunnel, or is it darkness?
No, it's a 20-foot diameter passage into darkness.
Ooh. And how far?
You're about 30 feet down.
Why didn't you transform into something with night vision?
I've got it.
Yeah,
I still have the same thing. I've got like crazy ass dark vision, 150 feet.
Yeah, so it just the tunnel winds away into blackness beyond.
And looking down, there's still the light.
Oh yes.
Well, I'm got to ride the elevator wherever it goes.
You're just going to ride it all the way down to the bottom, essentially?
Well, unless I just spider walk all the way back up, right?
Okay, that's fine. So essentially, as you descend through the mines, every 30 seconds of travel is replaced by 30 seconds of stasis by a similar tunnel opening. Sometimes there are 2 tunnels, one on either side of the elevator, and you make about 10 stops like this before things start to change.
That is a deep-ass tunnel.
Yes, this is a deep-ass tunnel indeed.
Jesus.
Reminds me of those nights in the cave with Rust.
As you descend into the lowest levels of this pit, the temperature starts to rise. And in the deeper levels, you begin to hear distant sounds of pickaxes and shovels striking stone. The rattle of a different kind of chain than the one that is by your spider ears. Do spiders have ears?
Sure they do.
Great.
And I don't know if I can find a way, but I will also, rather than just standing in the middle of the platform, maybe scurry onto a...
Yeah, some piece of
little more
mechanism or whatever. Yeah. Essentially, so as you come to near the very bottom, you're hearing the sounds of mining. And then it's getting hotter and hotter. Finally, you come to a stop below which you can see if your spider body crawls to the edge of the pit to observe your descent. The next stop will be a room. There is a burnt orange light glowing from below you. You hear the crazed, heavy sounds of a forge at work echoing upwards.
Oh my goodness, I feel like a forge is what we're here to find. All right.
So, as you continue your journey, I presume?
Yeah, I'm not getting off the elevator. I just want to...
Great. You arrive at the second to lowest level of this elevator shaft. I assume during the 30 seconds that are available to you before you continue moving down to the lowest level, you take a little bit of a look around.
Oh, I do.
Essentially, this is the first level that is well lit and clearly alive with foundry work. There's a ring-shaped iron gantry bolted to the wall of this shaft, 50 feet above the floor of the lowest level. And when the elevator stops here, the platform that you're on is level with the gantry. You hear a crazy mechanical rattling sound coming from all around you. And from the gantry... Yeah, actually, I'm going to drop you on a new map just for your own reference. So essentially, you see to the east and west of you, there is a huge hallway that extends. It is, well, they're 40 feet wide, so that's going to be about, I mean, giants will traverse this hallway with ease. So you should see a circular room, the gantry that I've mentioned, and then 2 short hallways. I mean, each square is 10 feet, so that's 40 feet wide.
Alrighty.
Essentially, from the gantry, you see 2 40-foot hallways extending east and west of you. The eastern hallway clearly opens into an utterly massive room, some 40 feet away from you. This is this room. The western hallway is very short, and another room opens up after just a dozen feet. A massive chain runs horizontally throughout the room, and suspended somehow and slowly carrying massive metal buckets in a north-south direction. As you stand and watch, there are hulking forms. An orc passes by the opening of the room and doesn't see you.
An orc.
Interesting.
It's carrying a vicious-looking hooked pole. And then as you make note of all of these things, you continue on your downward passage.
Ooh, still more.
Yes. You land on the bottom floor. And essentially, you are granted... allow me to look at my next map. You are granted a look into the giant hall to the west. You see that it is probably some 250, 300 feet across. There is some kind of massive artifacts being arranged inside of this huge hall. And to the north, there is another huge room with just a ton of goblins running around in it. Looks like they're probably eating something. They're having it's a mess hall. And then you start moving back upwards again.
As far as the artifacts go, was there any conch-like item?
While you stood looking into the room, you noticed, what can I say that you saw? There's a giant chain holding a gauntlet suspended. So the chain is running from the floor and then also from the ceiling to hold the gauntlet mid-air. And it's like bigger than Rust stacked on top of himself 3 times. Actually, you saw some of the artifacts being brought into Iron Slag by the fire giants last episode. So I will say they look kind of similar in terms of construction.
Alrighty.
And so you make your way back up. You stop again on the 2nd level where you see the chain rattling around in the room to the east of you. You catch another glimpse of the giant chamber to the west. Obviously, this is like a 2-story kind of hall that you have access to an upper level and a lower level via the elevator. And then you continue upwards through the cooling mine shafts, through the sounds of industry, and back to the top. So it's about half an hour since you left. Rust and Ortho, what have you two been up to?
That's what I think about that long book that you lent me. Sorry, just to clarify, you said there were about 10. It stopped at each cavern, or it just continued going? Okay.
It stopped every 30 seconds for 30 seconds.
And about 10 times, you said, right?
15 times.
Okay, and then
minutes times 2 is CPU is half an hour.
Okay, and that includes the last 2 levels.
Correct.
And the second lowest was the foundry with the chain and the large opening, and the bottom you said was basically a hall with these sort of things at one end that were like these artifacts.
Yeah, that's also in the large room. So you're granted an upper level access and a lower level access to the same giant hall, which has the artifacts in it.
I see. Okay.
And then to the north on the lower level, you Necro is able to see into a mess hall with like fuck ton of goblins scurrying around.
Jesus. Okay. So you come and tell us that, eh?
Yep. Although I'm not a fan of goblins, I don't think we should take on a described fuck ton.
No, I agree.
You would have had 30 seconds to count, so I will tell you there are between... there's more than 24.
Wow. Are they minions, maybe?
It's a metric fuck ton. Then I sort of looked at the stairs, and I say, there's no way these stairs go down 15 levels. Is it? That seems like a lot of stairs.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe they do.
They certainly could.
Yeah?
It is the Underdark.
Well, do you think they'd stop at each tunnel, though?
They certainly, it's very plausible.
Just so we can get perspective, obviously he knew which sides the tunnels were on. You said they were on the, like, I guess, north and south of what the current map would be?
Various.
Okay. Did any of them line up with where we're looking at the stairs descending?
Yes.
Okay.
So you said that there was an area where there were artifacts coming in, right? Or
Yes.
there were
The very
artifacts.
bottom, pretty
Like, is that where they were being stored, or they were just coming in that way?
Necro roll and either, I guess, insight maybe.
Might have been me. I don't know.
Oh, did you do your clap? I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you open INVICTUS after a while, all of the sounds.
Oh, I'm so insightful on the way this is being used.
What did you get?
I
I
didn't
don't
see
see
it.
you.
Oh, I don't see
You're
you in
all fine.
Invictus.
I don't see you in Invictus either.
What?
Could be
With the first
cheating.
one log in.
With a 20, Necro would have seen the giant artifacts suspended at different levels throughout the chamber and determined that perhaps they were being arranged in a certain fashion for a very specific reason, maybe for construction.
Don't want to build something.
Based on how deep you wrote it down, Necro, does it seem to line up with where we saw the entrance to the side of the mountain? Is that the upper level, the lower level, or neither? Can you suss that?
Sorry, say again?
I want to ask Necro if, based on how many stairs we've climbed on the outside of this, whether he can kind of guess whether or not the opening that the fire giant went in with the goblins is on the upper level or lower level, or maybe it was much higher, or maybe much lower, unlikely.
Necro, being very familiar with the Underdark and also being a ranger, I will say with a lot of skill in terms of navigation, would suss out that those adamantine doors probably lead into this great hall.
On the lowest level or the upper level?
Where we were, or where we were looking yesterday.
I mean, they're 50-foot doors.
Yeah.
So probably both.
Okay, gotcha.
Probably the doors open and occupy the height of the hall.
Any sign of the big fire giant that we ran into yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all
I
there.
didn't see. I saw large hulking shapes. I was not able to identify them other than giants. I didn't see anyone specifically.
So you went down there, I mean, 15 levels. How busy are the levels? Are we able to ride the lift down a few levels and then hop off, or should we just stick to the stairs and play it?
Well, it stops at 30-second intervals at any of these tunnels, so we could just enter a tunnel and, as Rich suggests, just do it, or sorry, as, who suggested that? Just do it dungeon crawl style. Oh, Kellen. Just pick a direction and go with caution and work our way. But I think it's important to focus, to keep in mind, as Rin suggested, that we're here for the conch, and the conch alone.
Yeah.
So maybe doing some sort of information gathering would be the most beneficial, i.e. we're next to the Yak stronghold right now. Not saying necessarily we want to go back, but I mean, if there's someone that would know information about the hole closer to where we are currently than to go all the way down there, like maybe, I don't know.
It'd be a big risk.
No, I'm not saying we go back to the Yaks.
I would suggest it would be easier to get someone isolated and captured down below than it would be. It'd be less risk to do it that way than to go into back to the Yak village.
No, I agree. I don't want to go back to the Yak village. I don't think they know anything. I think they're just sort of the gatekeepers here. I'm just trying to think out loud.
Yeah.
That
also, when I came back from the person that I was going to talk to, I want to note, I didn't say it for time's sake, but I want to note that I grabbed the rope of climbing on the way back.
Of course.
Yeah.
Good.
It actually unknots itself so that you can take it with you easily, I think is one of its features.
Okay. All right. Well, we got that.
Like a Legolas one.
Legolas. Well, maybe there's... Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe we should just go down to the first cave and poke around, or maybe we should ride down to the bottom and hope. No.
I'm just worried about riding down. I mean, there's no walls. There's nowhere to hide on the lift. If someone sees us, there really isn't an exit either.
Did you see the stairs at any point from the lift?
I did not.
So that's interesting. Meaning that we wouldn't be spotted.
I will say down a couple of the tunnels, you saw a landing to the stairs, the tunnels that led off towards the same direction. Do you know what I mean? Not that there are multiple.
I did not. I mean, on a couple of
and the
I saw a landing.
Okay, I got this. And the chains that are running the elevator up and down are ever present.
Mm-hmm.
So meaning they're constantly at the center.
Yes.
And you said they are large, like you said, 6-foot diameter chains or something.
The one that Necro saw running horizontally through the chamber at the second to lowest level was much bigger than the one that is moving the elevator up and down.
How big is the one that moves the elevator up and down?
I don't know. It's I mean, if you were to stand beside it, you would be about equally as wide as it is.
Meaning, can we easily grab onto it if we had to?
Yeah, so the elevator would continue moving, and maybe the chain would be moving upward.
That's my only thinking.
Some sort of like counterbalance.
Then here's what I'm suggesting. That to me, I mean, it's. I'm just trying to think if we took these stairs and we reach landings, in order to get out immediately, it's a risky move. Having the chain, is the chain dead center?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Never mind, that won't work. Because that's what, then a 40
The way I'm thinking, if we take the lift down, that's going to be very stealth based. But if we take the stairs and we get into a fight, we're going to be at an advantage because we are built to combat.
You're right, but it's also a long way to the top before you.
You should decide soon.
Yeah. But there might be another way out on the
Can't
bottom.
press us, or if we die, it's not our fault. All right, let's take the stairs.
We couldn't just take the lift up. Like if we get to the bottom,
yeah,
we can't take the lift up.
I always like to have an out, and I'm just trying to think if from one of those tunnels, if I wanted to jump to that chain, that's a 40-foot jump, correct?
From one of the tunnels, yes.
Okay. Like my thinking is if we come to a landing and we can't get back up the stairs and we can't continue down and 6 spiders surround us and we're like backing away, are we fucked?
Nearly impossible.
Nearly impossible. You've never met Wild Bill Monahan. Wait, I mean Rust. Shit. Wow, God, Bill, where are you? Okay, let's take the stairs.
That is a good point though, Harlan. It's good to have exit strategy.
Well, that's my thinking. I mean, here's why I like the elevator. If something fucks up, we can jump off into any tunnel. The reason I don't like the stairs is because if something fucks up, we can't jump off to anything. There's no backup, right? You can't run back up the stairs because it's 3 feet, and you guys are what, 5 to 6 foot max?
5'11".
He'd be rolling climb checks all the way up, correct, GM?
Yeah.
So that means it's only down or into the tunnels. And anyway, let's take the stairs. It's tough. For time's sake. But know that I would have spent long time deciding this.
What do you think, Mike?
You just reasoned the elevator.
I did, but I feel like the elevator is a lot more, like we're way more exposed. You could see the elevator from every hole, whereas the stairs, you don't have any exposure, really. We could hope that the elevator comes by when we need to jump off.
That said, going through what I saw, there wasn't a lot of movement around the elevator.
You heard distant sounds of mining in the tunnels.
Correct.
You saw no one.
Okay.
So unless they're directly coming to the elevator, I don't feel we're going to run into anyone.
Ooh, actually, that works well. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Because you did say that the chain was running opposite to the platform, correct?
I did.
Meaning, in an ideal world, if we needed to head back up, we could literally grab the chain on the platform. And
I guess there would be one that would be stationary and one that is moving.
You know what I mean? We could basically be like, if like we couldn't get off, we'd be like, goodbye, and just start riding it up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I feel like that point in the 30 seconds where it's stationary, both would be stationary.
They would,
yeah.
but hopefully we would do it after it started moving, and that gives us a 30-second lead. Okay, let's take the thing.
Let's do the elevator, yeah. And what floor are we going to?
I mean, do we want to, like, okay, we have essentially 13 floors.
Go right to the second last level.
Well, I would say we go to 13 rather than 14.
Okay.
Right? Because that gives us one...
We can sneak down.
One buffer zone?
One buffer zone, yeah. And then that way we can sort of poke around and suss out.
And one more level to die in?
No, but maybe we're doing perception checks as well as we're rolling down. I mean, he has a 21 and dim vision. So you're saying the 13 levels he saw nothing?
I've got dunce vision?
Dumb vision.
I mean, he would have seen the light from the chamber below grow as he...
But I mean, in any of those side tunnels, they were just mining tunnels and they're vacant and done now. Is what we're sort of...
Yep, he heard the sounds of mining for 2 or 3 tunnels above the first one that was lit and occupied.
Okay.
So there are creatures in those tunnels.
And the first one that was lit and occupied was 14.
Yes.
Okay. So then let us go to either 12 or 13. because all we have to do is wait 30 minutes before riding the lift again, worst case scenario, and I'd rather play safe than sorry. And more than likely there'll be stairs descending. That way we can see what's a better approach, either the platform or the thing. And I think we should also try to go to maybe 12 to do a long rest if we can. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
find a spot within 12 to take a break.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to get out of, so the three of you go onto the elevator platform and you begin your journey down. And you would like to disembark from the elevator prior to the tunnels where the sounds of creatures are?
Correct.
Or, okay, so that's maybe 11 or 10?
Oh, okay. I see. Then yeah.
You know what? That's one of the keys I think that we talked about last time, is that there is no real rush.
Yeah, and I agree.
Yeah.
Let's take the long rest. Let's recoup.
Definitely.
Great
Okay.
idea.
I want to do lots of listens too.
The three of you get off the elevator just as the tunnels are starting to feel hot.
Okay, so 9.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Essentially, you don't hear anyone close by
Perfect.
at all.
Here's my sheet. We're off at 9.
Lovely. Ninth floor.
9th floor. A little bellhop with a hat that looks like Joe. If you're getting off, you better get off, mister.
So cute. Essentially, you see a few broken picks and shovels, clearly discarded here after some work has been finished. There's a broken bullseye lantern that's lying on its side in a pool of broken glass shards. The walls of the tunnels that you see around you are scored with the marks of mining, but you don't hear anyone in the same level as you are.
Can I do a perception check?
Sure.
Actually, you guys are much more skilled at it. Why don't you do it?
I'll leave it to Mike. But I'll ask you, what do you think of the idea of kidnapping a miner? I mean, we're
I'm not into
pretty
kids.
isolated.
Well, I
They
think
might
we're all
have,
the adults down here.
That was my joke. I said I'm not into kids. Never mind.
Oh, very funny.
Honestly, I don't. From the impression I get, I don't think they know anything. They seem like they're scraped off the ground and what are they mining for?
You don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably iron, based on the campaign name.
The yak attack?
The yak attack.
The mining for yaks.
In the 5. In the pipe. 5 by 5. Sorry, Mike. What did you get?
Oh, I wasn't.
You know what? I'm just gonna roll it because
Yeah,
I'm
do
not
it.
waiting for these fools, and I should have waited because I got a 13.
Yeah, you don't hear anyone nearby.
Well, I rolled a 12-sider, so let's not do that again.
Yeah, that's not. Don't do that.
You have passive 21 anyway, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say my passive is probably better than my roll.
I mean, Necro puts her ear to one of the cavern walls and points kind of off and down the way a little bit, and she's like, the spiral staircase is down that way.
And I turn to Necro and I say, is there anywhere where we can camp quietly? Maybe a small alcove that's been dug into the side of the wall, someplace that's secure that you wouldn't see from the elevator.
There is only one way to find that out, and
That's why I'm asking you.
I was not off the elevator.
Yeah, we're off the elevator now.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying is we have to go find out. I don't know.
All right, let's take a walk. Let's start walking down the
Along the way.
Well, I don't want it to be so far back though.
Like
Like,
little fungus or little things like that, and just tap them with druid craft and just let them grow a little bit.
Oh, cute.
no, and I stomp them out. Don't leave any trace. Are you an idiot? And I turn to you and I say, we are here to get the conch and to slip out. If it can be done without bloodshed, that's preferred.
And yet, this entire cavern has been mined.
Necro,
And it's
if they're
been
riding it
scarred.
down and they see a mushroom growing out of nothing, then it's something for them to investigate. We leave no
Do you really think
trace.
they're gonna care that mushrooms are growing?
I care.
And then Russ turns around and he sees Ortho with a piece of chalk writing, "I love my sister" on the wall.
I slap it out of your hand. I say, no! But that's not a bad idea. No, we're not confused yet. No, I want to try to find an alcove relatively close to the elevators so we can
What
monitor it
if
during the long run.
perhaps I was growing the mushrooms in such a way that I was making it our trail?
I still squish them. I don't want to leave anything to chance.
Okay.
So now there's a bunch of squished mushrooms over there.
Because that doesn't look weird.
No, just then I eat them.
It's like,
do you smell something?
boozy,
It smells like
cramming
someone's been growing
mushrooms.
mushrooms. Let's go investigate.
like a weird, like purple brown stain around his
I
mouth.
feel like growing the mushrooms in a path is a lot less.
Fine, then I don't see it. But put it this way. I wanted to check with the alcove if it was relatively close to the elevator. Because during our long... That's what I wanted. So there is.
You find one?
Yes. Because
Right.
I want to have it so that during the long rest, we can monitor the elevator's comings and goings. This is the purpose of why I wanted to suggest that.
Yeah, so you find a place very close to the elevator, something likely that has been especially excavated long ago. And it is large enough for the three of you to hang out in comfortably with kind of just a little bit of a view of the elevator platform going up and down, by which you measure the hours, and 8 of them pass uneventfully.
Okay, and I do not sleep because I don't need to.
Nobody even goes up the elevator.
No, no one does.
It's kind of a useless elevator, isn't it?
No, it got
maybe-
us here.
I'm
Maybe they're
saying...
on a holiday.
I feel like the guy who designed this was like, and I'll put it in the elevator. People will have an easy way up and down. They can use it many times a day. And yet, no one uses it.
No one's used it yet except for you guys.
Lucky us. Maybe there's a reason before it.
Oh, I don't mean yet as in ever, but yet as in since you've been here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unless we don't use the elevator anymore. It's haunted. Anyone who steps on it gets ghost tracks.
Yeah.
Oh no! Check your feet.
Well, I am
for ghost
wondering why it's there. I mean, it obviously goes up to where the yak folk are, and it's obviously... Oh, you know what? It's going to... It's for the miners. Probably, if we were to go below, we would see more use.
As the three of you stand, or as you stood on
Maybe
the
it's like a
elevator
drill.
platform, you realize that it didn't creak or groan at all under your weight, that this could support 10,000 pounds easily.
So maybe it's like a drill. Maybe it's like drilling into the ground or something.
Or maybe it's an elevator that goes up and down.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's why you don't do the thinking, Necro. Leave your mushroom somewhere else.
Whatever, mushroom squisher.
Hey,
So you would presume that it's morning, though the light in here has not changed. What would you like to do?
you guys are all long rested back up, yeah?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. I think we should maybe I
Oh,
will
damn
take-
it. That's what we were doing? I wasn't resting.
Oh shit! I was playing on my
active-
phone.
And yeah, as Rust is sort of alone during the night at one point, even though you guys are awake too, he does pull out his little poem book and in the darkness tries to find some sort of light in the tunnel, the dim light, which I'm sure doesn't exist. But anyway, and reads a small poem to himself, just muttering. I think, as much as we've abused the fuck out of it, I think maybe you should do another animal shift and check those stairs.
Yeah, give me a bit, because I do want to switch up what spells I have.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because I feel like animal friendship probably not all that useful here.
Yeah, definitely take your hour. I mean, I'm not sure that it's an hour that druids need to meditate and pick spells, but
Well, you know what? In the meantime, why don't I do beast sense / speak with animals to control your... sorry, what was your mouse's name again?
oh yeah.
Slip.
Slip.
Okay, to control Slip and send him maybe down the stairs. Is there a central maybe point that he could scale up and down from the stairs, or does he have to climb 3 feet each time?
I'm not really sure. I'm thinking of Cinderella when the mice have to go all the way up to the attic where Cinderella is locked, and
Oh,
it's like an
no.
ordeal because like the one mouse is really fat and like the skinny mouse has to push the fat mouse
Oh.
up the stairs. It's
Is there a
very sad.
railing that he could slide down on his
There's no railing. Oh, so cute though.
Oh.
No, there's no railing.
Okay.
He's able to make quick progress down. Coming back up will be a little bit more.
That's
arduous.
fine. I don't want to risk it. Russ doesn't let on the fact that he cares. No, useless rodent. When deep down, it's kind of like I couldn't abandon the poor man there. That's Rust's inner conscience. Oh gosh.
The
Oh boy. Gee
the-
golly.
The staircase going down is maybe 400 feet away from you at this point. So you would suppose that at certain points the staircase stopped and then continued elsewhere.
Right. Okay. Is there any other creatures around? Spiders or flies?
I mean, yeah, there's like a centipede.
Perfect.
Ooh.
Centipede, come as ye here.
I turned
He's
to I turned to Necro. Necro, if you could, maybe we can find out up here what they're mining. If you can check out the consistency of
Ooh,
this,
that's a good idea.
this terrain.
Sure.
Hints of.
Yeah, make a nature check.
They're mining manure. Oh wait, excuse me. Apologies.
Sorry, what am I doing here?
Nature check. If you would like to find out from the mineral content of the walls what the mining operation is.
But I probably won't.
Redstone.
Redstone? Yes, to make Minecraft.
That's right.
An 11.
To make a fully functioning calculator.
They're mining rock.
Some sort of mineral, eh?
Or of some kind.
Or what?
Some sort of ore. All right, that doesn't really give me
Or
what I need.
what? Who's on first? Okay. I think Necro, you need to do your beast change.
Okay.
So go down the stairs, my friend.
And away I go.
Oh, so cute. Okay, I will say you have what? An hour, I believe? An hour in your beast?
2 hours.
2 hours. And you're on level 9, and we go down to 15.
Before I do that, though, I'm going to cast Pass Without Trace.
Okay.
Because that gives me a +10 on stealth, so that'd be a +16.
Oh, goodbye. And I would also say to you before.
You also want to be a spider at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I also want to say 2 real quick things. One, if you're watching, you make sure to like the video because we only have 12 likes and 17 people watching. You go out and like, please and thank you. But also, I'm going to say to Mycl, I'm going to say, if you get down there and it's a safe passage down. Oh no, that's dumb. Never mind. Continue. I was going to say if you get down. I was going to say.
buddy.
I was going to say if you get down and it's
I'm
safe.
on edge.
I was going to say if you get down and it's safe, hide. And after a few hours, we'll just come down assuming. But then logically, if you get attacked, we would know the difference.
Dead or
So
not.
that's
he hasn't
why
come
I
back.
stopped
He must be
myself. There's no way you can send
okay.
something back to us, eh?
So I think that Necro is able to make use of her spider web, most likely, in order to descend quickly, and then we'll have to ascend slowly these mines. And that she descends the the remaining 6 stories into the mines, and I guess it's only 5 stories because she comes out on this level 2, second from the bottom. And I've just revealed a little bit more of the map. So essentially what she sees when she comes down the staircase is the spiral staircase ends kind of in a sub-tunnel, which has got mine cart tracks laid all down on the bottom of it. And as she follows these mine cart tracks, it opens up into a room, some kind of ore depository. And indeed, while she was traveling, she had to kind of dodge the footfalls of a couple of shield dwarf slaves that have ankle manacles. They're pushing mine carts. There is a fiery creature with a trident that seems to be standing guard over these slaves. There's empty wooden barrels and crates piled in this room. The slaves, while Necro is watching, empty the mine carts into a bucket chain, the same sort of chain that she saw 8 hours ago. It's moving horizontally through the room from west to east. And these slaves are emptying mine cart full of rocks and ore into these huge buckets. The buckets themselves are about 10 feet long by 8 feet tall by 6 feet wide. They are huge. So they're using little step stools or ladders to get up there, and they're heaving cartfuls of rock and rubble into these buckets. And
Okay, but actually seeing what they're doing, I can't tell if it's anything more than rock and rubble.
That's a cool fucking music. Rock and rubble.
And then knowing that your beast shape is going to expire, you head back up.
Yeah.
Are there any guards? Were there any guards there?
Yeah. So the one fiery creature with a trident seems to be lording over them.
Fiery creature, was it like serpent-like? Was it?
Interesting. And please don't pull up a monster manual picture for me this time.
I learned last game.
I will do my best to describe it. It has 2 arm appendages and classic shoulder head arrangement, but its torso and lower is that of a snake. It appears to be made of fire.
Right.
It's pretty big.
Quick question. Last game I spotted a gauntlet that was being dragged into the tunnels, and you said it was massive. Comparatively to a fire giant, how massive is this? Just so I can get perspective.
It would not fit on a fire giant's hand.
Like, could the giant climb into it?
No. It's like so you come up to a fire giant's kneecap.
Yeah.
The fire giant holding the gauntlet would like hold it like this, arms around.
Oh, almost like
it's like another order of magnitude larger.
Okay. So this is a giant iron golem of sorts that they're building and trying to transport out of this fucking place.
Something like that. Wink, wink.
Yeah, well, Rich was the one who sort of started piecing that together. I remember you mentioned the gauntlet, but it's tough with things like this because I picture massive and I think, oh, like a massive gauntlet. And then it's like, no, a massive gauntlet. I'm like, that makes a lot more sense.
Imagine yourself being the size of someone's shin, and then it's massive to them.
Well, that's the theater of the mind drawback always, right? It's like, I picture this. It's like, wait, no. It's actually this. But that's good. Okay, so now we know what we're up against, and we can't let it be completed. Anyway, are you back up, Necro?
Why, I certainly am.
What did you see?
Just hands all the way back.
Is there any benefit in freeing these dwarves? Perhaps these could be the ones to tell us what they're building and why. Although it sounds like they're building a giant iron golem and using the conscious teleportation to get it out.
And if they are, that poses a serious threat to the realm.
Isn't there something like, I don't know, C4 in D&D? Can't we just pump this tunnel
there's fucking magic.
Yeah, but enough to blow up a mountain?
You don't have a wizard, but yeah.
So if we just line that fucking elevator with just C4 and TNT and just set it off when it hit the bottom, doesn't that make the conscious teleportation not important because everything's fucking dead? I'm just joking. Anyway, all right, Necro's gone, so
it's a very short-sighted solution, I will say.
That's what I do. I'm a Half-Orc.
Another question is, how far along do you think they are on this project?
About 9 months, ready to burst.
Yeah.
No, well, if it's a gauntlet, that's usually probably one of the last things you'd need, wouldn't it? You'd build it from the ground up.
I'd imagine. I mean, are we going to have to fight against this thing if
I
we
fucking hope
aren't
not.
fast enough?
So
perhaps
I'm thinking,
if you have a better vantage into that room, you'll be able to discern this for yourself.
Right. Okay.
That's the second lowest story, right?
The giant hall where this Colossus is being constructed is 2 stories tall. And these are giant-sized stories.
That's the 14th and 15th floor.
Correct.
And the
we'll call it 1 and 2. Oh, technically, you're 15 stories up when you started your journey.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so in the floor that he was just on is 1 or 2 or 3?
That was 2.
Just checking. Okay. So
because he would have known because it's the same one with the bucket chain.
The dwarves were being used to mine. They're obviously slaves. Does it benefit us at all to free them?
Well, at least we'd get information.
What did you say you saw? A serpent creature made of fire?
Yes, it seemed to be some sort of snake humid.
Can I roll
made of fire.
Nature, I guess, to see if I've fought one before or something?
You would roll Arcana.
Arcana is intelligence, which gives me -1, so 16.
You know of elemental beings This seems to be an elemental fire creature.
Right. Okay. Elemental. Okay. Does anyone have any? Have you ever fought elementals before? Either of you?
Probably.
Sure, maybe.
But do I want to fight one now is the question. I mean, do we have to fight this thing? What's the benefit of freeing these slaves?
Didn't you say you wanted to interrogate some people?
Yeah. I wasn't
Maybe
Slaves
talking
might
about
be our best bet.
Ultimately, we're here for the conch. Let's not forget that. If these
It is.
if these dwarves know exactly where that is, it'd be worth freeing them.
Yeah. They would have information on that.
Um,
Well, maybe.
Okay. Is there anything that we can do in a way of understanding what an elemental's weakness would be? Sort of, maybe another...
Water.
Well, that's sort of obvious, but I just want to... Come on, everybody, get your wet sacks out. Water fight.
Stop it. No.
You would presume you should not use fire damage on this creature?
But like, what I want to know is, yes, water makes sense. But like, if I threw an oil flask, logic is it would get bigger. But would it also blow up? Like, could that be a negative thing or a positive thing for? I assume.
You
positive.
have no idea.
And is there any, what I'm saying? Is there anything we can roll to discern that?
No.
Oh.
Because that, I mean, you wouldn't know this because you're, I'm sorry, Harlan, a little bit of a D&D noob. A little bit.
Of course I am. I'm not offended.
That there's no, like, water damage, but there is cold damage.
Perfect.
And that there are specific rules about how oil flasks react with fire, but reacting with like elemental fire that a creature is made of, that's a little bit more like GM's discretion. So I wouldn't be able to answer you that. It would pretty much be based on like how things are going and situationally what's around, kind of just how I feel about the thing.
Are you feeling nice?
I would like to move this along a little bit,
Yeah.
to be frank.
Whoa.
So,
Well, how far away are we? Because I have an ability called Know Your Enemy, which gives me a little information on creatures.
right now you're about 4 stories away. When
stories
being loose, like this is, I mean, are you by the elevator? Are you by the stairs?
We'll take the stairs down, I think,
Well,
because
we're still in the nook, but yeah, if we take the stairs.
Okay,
Big
so
mic
the
one.
nook is about 400 feet from the stairs, and then the stairs you have to go down about 90 or so feet before you reach the room with
Okay.
the slaves in it.
If I use Know Your Enemy, I'll basically be able to know whether or not this thing has higher AC than me.
Do you have to
Higher.
see it?
I have to interact with it or observe it for a minute,
Okay,
at least.
okay.
so you could potentially use that. You would need to observe it for a minute.
And just to Necro, when you exited the stairs, was there any sort of place that we could just sort of sit for a second, or was it like open straight to this?
It's pretty open. It's about a 10-foot tunnel with a minecart track along it leading into the room.
All right. Well, what do you think? We can continue down and not bother. We could try taking the elevator, or we can use this sort of...
Well, I mean, we aren't really in a rush still. We can just keep going down and checking, but this might give us more information rather than just going into every room and
True.
find out.
And the GM wants to move it along, so let's do that.
Yeah, we've been at this for 1 hour and you have not yet reached the dungeon.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go
All right.
down.
Let's
She's
go
gonna
check out
force
this
us to
creature.
do something, and we're gonna die. And then she's gonna go, "It's your choice." We go, "Ah!"
No, you guys are just scared because you don't want to take the first step. Like, you gotta go in the door.
we want to make the right
right?
step.
Names
Yeah. Okay, so you're going via elevator or via stairs?
via
We'll take the
stairs, I
stairs, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Unless-
you take this.
Was the elemental creature like facing the elevator or the stairs? Was it
It's observing the slaves at work. This, like, Necro had to dodge the slaves who are moving through the passageway
yeah.
to get into the room. So it's an active You will probably be seen by either the slaves or the guard. That's presuming there aren't more of either or both of those things in other tunnels.
If we
Are we able to like creep down the stairs and then just like peer out and not jump into the hallway 100%?
You can totally try that.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's
try it.
Okay.
If you would like to move down into the stairs, I would like everyone to make a stealth check, please.
Hold on. If we take, you said there was tunnels that had opposite sides of the elevator as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's entirely possible.
That's one of them that you are in right now that led to these stairs.
Right. So we could go to the other side and do the same thing, and it could be an entirely different perspective, right?
Correct.
So you know what? I know you want to push it, Joe, but I would do that. I wouldn't be if I was like, I would like.
You go down the other way for a while.
Yeah, I would want to know, right? Like, wouldn't we?
Labyrinthine tunnels.
What I mean to say is, there's stairs presumably on either side of the tunnels, right? That are.
Why would you presume that?
Because
symmetry.
Well, I guess not. Yeah, I guess so.
So it's a labyrinthine tunnel system on the other side. Eh?
Correct.
No, straight upstairs.
You travel for 15 to 20 minutes and detect no upwards or downwards.
All right, let's go down the stairs.
All right, so I'll take the lead.
Everyone roll stealth for me.
I would like to cast guidance on Rust.
Please do.
Mycl, how long does Pass Without a Trace last?
It's gone. It was only an hour.
Okay.
I got a 19 on my stealth roll, and then Rust will add 2 to his.
So 9
stealth.
9. Okay.
Well, that's that, right?
Let me just get some dice out.
What I'm looking for is I have a spell that's not in the player's handbook, but was part of the Unearthed Arcana Ranger, and it's called Absorb Elements. And I wanted to cast it on these two guys. I just can't find it.
Oh.
Was it? I didn't see any extra spells in that.
Acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder resistance.
Did you prepare that this morning?
Pardon me?
Did you prepare that this morning?
I did not, but that's why I was like, let's do one more long rest. And
well, you're already on the stairs.
All right, well, there we go.
Let's go back up then and wait.
That's why I was so quiet. I'm like, damn it, where's the spell gun? All right, I'm good.
Yeah, as you descend this. Sorry, Mycl, what was your stealth check? I mean, Rust rolled a 9, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And Necro's passive perception is 21. So as you descend the stairs, you hear the sounds of the mining operation get closer and closer to you. And Rust, I don't know, maybe he pulls out his journal again for some words of inspiration just before getting into the thick of it, and he misses a step. These are big steps. You guys have to kind of hop down, and he gets his foot caught in the leather strap, maybe a scabbard or something, and goes head over heels down about 3 steps in a clatter of breastplate against a greatsword. Makes quite a sound. And Necro, with your high passive perception, you can tell that based on the sounds ahead of you, maybe you're about a floor from where cart track leads into the ore depository, that you have been heard. The sounds of mining stop.
That's a heavy fall. Clink, clink. Wait.
Yes.
Well, perhaps they had guards.
I know.
Well.
I'm just laughing at the craziness.
Yeah.
All right. I pick myself up and I turn to the others. Sorry. I should have been reading my book for some reason.
And I gesture for them to stay there, and I take a couple steps down to the last couple steps, and I look around the corner to see what is mobilizing.
Okay. You see a being made of fire, as described by Necro, kind of prowling towards the staircase, looking all directions.
Okay, I'm going to use thaumaturgy.
Okay.
I'm going to create sound behind it.
Nice.
Back in the chamber where it was coming from.
Great.
Just like a ka 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 ka.
That sound?
Something like that.
Okay, cool. Let me see how smart these things are. Okay. It drops its spear that it is hefting and turns around real fast. Okay. And then you smell like an acrid smell, like, you know when you pick up a garter snake and it like pees on you?
Ooh.
Does that smell?
It's the only reason I hunt for garden snakes.
Ambrosia.
Yes.
You guys know that smell. I grew up in the country, so when you scare a snake and it looks around, it's like freaked right out, and then it picks its spear back up and goes back into the other room.
Okay.
So it is distracted currently.
Perfect. So I'm just gonna sit and observe it. And is the mining starting again?
So essentially what has happened is the mining operation in the other room was halted for a while this guard went to check out what had happened. And the guard got real spooked. Actually, you see a couple of shield dwarves like clutching each other, looking all around the room as well. And roll perception for me. And how far away are the two of you, Rust and Necro?
I'd be sitting on the stairs, I guess.
Like one floor up, basically?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. Well, then Necro, with her passive perception, notices that there is a sound of a minecart coming towards you from a different tunnel. On the second floor, as in there's a different party of creatures approaching you from the floor that you are on.
Oh, great.
I got a 19.
Yeah, so you can tell that as well. You know that your friends are being approached upstairs.
Oh, from the upstairs.
Yeah, so the level that you left them on, there's a minecart moving towards them.
Oh, but they're on the stairs. Like,
yeah,
right
it's moving
them.
towards the stairs.
So on the 13th floor.
Yeah, perhaps to invest. Well, okay, so floor 1 is the bottom. Floor 2 is where this minecart empties out. You're on floor 3.
Yeah.
So there's a crew of people approaching you that you can't see yet, but they're probably coming to investigate the sound also.
All right, so I'm just gonna watch this fire creature, and I tell the other guys to brace themselves. I'll turn around if I need to, but
they're upstairs. You can't see them. The spiral staircase. You would need to go kind of like counterclockwise, I guess, to ascend the stairs maybe twice in order to get to their level.
I guess I just keep moving down then.
Okay. Necro?
I will follow.
Great. So the two of you end up nearly bumping into the back of Ortho, who shushes you and points at the salamander creature.
And I tell Ortho that there's people above us as well.
So I want to know, first of all, interesting. Can I? Okay, so it says I can get like a higher or lower AC, like higher or lower than whatever AC it is or whatever.
Sure.
Can I use dodge to up my AC and then see whether it's higher or lower?
No.
No, okay. So I'm going to just see whether or not his AC is.
I'm imagining you standing in a hallway like.
Yeah.
Trying to like see whether it can move that fast.
It's just for stats. It's just for stats.
I like it.
It has a lower AC than you do.
Oh, good. What's your AC?
Lower AC, 16.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then I'm also going to look up class level. Higher, lower, or equal?
Sorry, class level?
It says class level, yeah. I was thinking that was just like character level. Like
kind of be like a CR?
Yeah, probably CR. I'm sorry, I don't have that on the note that I have here, but I will look it up for you right now. You are an 8, correct?
Oh,
that would be.
You know what? If it's not there, I'm going to.
It's lower. It's a lower CR than your class.
Oh, okay. Good to know. It's weaker than we are. We can do this.
I'm not so concerned about it anymore as what's coming behind.
Well, if they've got a mine card, what are the chances they're going to come down the stairs with it?
Well, they can get out of the minecart and walk down the stairs.
Oh, you think they're riding in the mine card? I thought maybe they were coming with some,
I don't know.
the mine.
I guess.
Okay, well, why don't we wait and see what comes down this way, because this thing isn't bothering us right now.
Okay.
Well, are we so we're not taking out this creature?
Put it this way. I think waiting makes the most sense. Either they come down and we fight all of them, and
So the three of you are piled head on top of one another, staring around the corner of this staircase.
I figure I'm just
hallway.
sitting on the bottom step. Just
Okay.
waiting.
As you are sitting there, this guard turns around and sees you.
The fire one?
Yeah.
Oh, I was watching it. Oh, okay.
Typically, when you can see something, it can also see you.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Oh, well,
I figured I was sitting like
so
a
it was just
stair
moving
up.
towards me the whole time?
Or anything.
No, it kind of went back into the room, and then it like turned around
All right.
to just look down the hallway, and there you were.
Well, then let's.
Roll initiative.
Yeah,
Let's do that.
that's what I'm saying.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
All right.
So we're at the bottom of these stairs. We're looking into a hallway.
I got a natural 20 on
mine shaft.
initiative. Whoop whoop.
And
Woo.
so we're kind of at a T, I guess, a T junction. The stairs behind us, and then this hallway before us.
Yes.
And to the left is the bigger area.
Can you just
of
ping on the map
over there.
exactly where this is happening, just so I can see it?
I'm gonna say you're right here. Oops. Sorry. You're right here. So there's about, like
okay.
40 feet of, well, more than that. There's about 50 feet of rail cart ahead of you, and then the creature's standing at the entrance of the room.
And is there any cart between us?
No.
Okay. So I got a 23, or what do I add to it?
That's a 20.
Your
That's
dex
Okay, so yeah, 20.
20.
I got a 19.
And I got a 16.
Good rolls, guys.
For ortho.
Well, I roll 2. I roll advantage on initiative. So
Me too.
nice.
Exciting.
Bros. Great. Rust, you're first up. This creature turns and looks at you and hefts its spear aggressively, and that's all that happens. There's about, what did I say, 40 feet between the two of you?
Yeah, kind of like.
Oh.
So I won't be able to like get to it and attack.
Oh, I think your speed's 40 with as a barbarian. I think you got extra.
Yeah, so I can
Your-
move and
what's
attack
your
twice still, or is that one of my movements?
You can move and act.
Okay. And then because I have an extra attack,
Got 2 attacks. You could attack
Then
twice.
you
that's
can
what I
attack
thought.
twice.
Then I will bull rush him. I will draw my sword and charge with rage. I will enter rage mode.
Enter a rage. Rage mode activated.
Rage mode activated, and I will run towards him. And I will fucking.
Yeah, let's.
I will do
Roll for it,
a
buddy.
reckless attack. Maybe.
Okay.
Why not? I
That
don't know.
means, yeah, you can
That
attack
means
with
he gets
advantage, and
advantage.
then.
Now, just to make, just for clarification, if
Correct.
I'm doing a reckless attack, and the people coming down the stairs then attack me, they get advantage as well, or only
Yes.
this person? Okay, so anybody who attacks me.
Anyone who wants to attack you this round.
Got it. I feel pretty confident being this far away, and I don't think the dwarfs are gonna fuck with us.
Yeah, you got your road dogs that are like backing you up, so there's
That's what
probably
I'm
not.
saying.
You're
So I'm
not
gonna
gonna-
reckless attack, which gives me advantage this turn. So
Cool.
I'm doing 2 20s. And I will take the 13 plus 8 to hit. And
That hits.
and okay, so that's 2d6 plus 5 plus 2. 2d6 plus 5 is that's 13 plus 2, so 15 damage.
Mm-hmm.
I believe. That's my first.
Are you gonna attack again?
Yep. Do I roll advantage on both?
Yep.
Okay. So that's my first. Second is going to be 16 plus 8 to hit. So 24.
Yes.
And again, 2d6. So that's 7 plus 5 is 12 plus 2 is 14 damage. So 15 damage and 14 damage.
Great. Tell me about your weapon, Rust.
It is a great sword.
Mundane?
What does that mean?
Magical?
Not magical.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Wait, or was it? You told me. No, I don't think it is.
Do you have a +1? No.
No.
I think you chose the potion over the magical.
No, I took the breastplate over the magical.
Yes. Okay. Moving right along. Ortho.
Okay, so
Hold on. Did it react at all to my hits?
Yeah, it hissed at you with its fiery breath. A tongue that looks like it's made of lava comes out, and it. Where did you slash it?
I slashed it across its snake belly, and I went for its neck.
Okay. Being a seasoned adventurer, you are used to seeing a more obvious backlash when you injure a creature. This doesn't seem to have done as much damage as it should have.
Oh, so it needed magical attacks. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You are welcome. Ortho.
All right, so I'm going to run up behind Rust in quick succession, and I am going to...
What's your speed?
Oh, 30.
Yeah, so you get 10 feet away. Do you want to move again, or you want to attack from range?
No, I'm going to... I'll probably cast. That seems like the move. Let's see. I will cast.
Oh, interesting. Harlan, you attacked this creature with a melee attack. You are right up close and personal. You are going to take fire damage just from being close by. So I'm going to roll some fire damage.
Harlan's just going to ignore it because that's the kind of barbarian he is.
6. When Harlan comes back, he's taking 6 fire damage for his brazen attacks.
Brazen.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So yeah, I'm going to cast Shield of Faith on Rust. And so a shimmering field appears around him, and he gains a +2 to AC for the duration.
Wonderful. Remind him of that when he is present. I mean, the next thing that's going to happen is he will be attacked by this creature. Yeah. Harlan Guthrie. Calling Harlan Guthrie to the stage.
Yes?
You took some damage from attacking this salamander.
Okay.
You took 6 fire damage because you are right up close and personal and hitting it with your attacks.
Oh, okay.
And then Ortho cast a shimmering field around you, blessing you with a +2 AC for the duration of the spell, which I do not know currently. He will tell us in a little bit. And now, so Ortho is standing, 5 feet behind you or so. He's 10 feet from the salamander.
Okay, quick question, sorry.
Yes.
So I have resistance to all damage because I have the bear totem. Does that, is this halved already, or...
Does it include fire damage?
It just says all damage. I don't know.
All damage except psychic?
Except psychic. Is that fire psychic?
Yeah. So no. Fire is not psychic. Oh. Have you ever seen a psychic fire?
Don't do that. I don't know. Don't be a dick. Just tell me yes or no.
I'm not a dick. I will give you the damage, and you will have it yourself.
Okay, so I'm at -3 then.
Correct. And you have a +2 to your AC. So as you struck this salamander, sparks flew off of it and singed your beautiful hair. Okay. So the salamander hefts its spear at you and tries to hit your body with it, and definitely hits. That is a 25.
Did he pick up his spear? Didn't he drop that?
Oh, he picked it up for sure. It is dealing. Oh shit! Hold up. 2d8.
2d8. Oh man.
It deals 13 piercing damage.
Okay.
And 4 fire damage unto you.
13 and 4, so that's just 17 half then?
You gotta half that yourself.
No, I'm just making. That's what I mean. So then I half 17.
Great.
But do I round up or down?
Down.
Cool.
You ran down.
Yay.
And then a 16 plus 7, 23 to hit you with its tail. It turns around and whoota!
Yeah.
It gets you with that.
Wait, 13? What's his AC?
No, 16 plus 7, 23 to hit.
Oh, yeah.
Bludgeoning damage. That is 12 bludgeoning.
Okay.
Plus 5 fire damage.
Perfect. So again, 17.
Yes, so it takes its 2 attacks against you and hisses in a terrible language that sounds like the crackling of fire and smoke.
Quick question. Sorry. So it damaged me when I hit it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like standing next to a campfire and being too close.
No, it makes total sense. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally. So Necro, you see 40 feet down this tunnel, your 2 friends, your brother and your lover, engaged with a fire snake.
I will have it do a strength saving throw versus DC 14.
Okay, or what?
As I work contacting with the very earth itself, and trying to reduce its movement to 0 with earth.
I succeeded exactly with a 14.
Well then, I will move a little closer.
No.
But not close enough to it. My next thing is going to be cast Fairy Fire so that they have advantage on attacks.
Well, that's going to be the next thing that you do.
That's what I'm saying. Next turn. Next round.
Great. So you move your full complement of distance, 30 feet.
So I'm roughly 30 feet away from it? Sure.
So you and Necro can be shoulder to shoulder in the hallway as it is 10 feet wide. 5 feet ahead of you is Rust facing off against this fiery guard.
And I will take a quick look behind too for the people coming downstairs.
The sounds of battle don't seem to have attracted the notice.
Okay.
You hear intense noise coming from the forge beyond you, the rattling of the chain moving through the room, etc. Also, there is a crazy amount of heat coming from kind of the southwest, I will say. Moving along, Rust, is your turn again. You just got stabbed and fired.
Rust gets angry because he's got his rage boner, and he attacks him again. Twice.
Recklessly?
Oh, that's right. He got advantage. I was wondering. I was like, that was a good hit, but it was that. No, I think maybe I'll do. Sorry, a critical hit's just a 20, right?
No, I believe you have a 19 or a 20 because of your Half-Orc. I think it's a racial trait that you have an improved critical range.
That's good
Pretty
to
sure.
know.
Double check that.
Okay, I'll write that down for now. Yeah, let's do it reckless again. At this point, I'm already in. So that is a 6.
No, wait. I think because you're an orc, when you score a critical, you re-roll another damage dice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's fighter.
I'm sorry? It's a fighter that you have your improved critical. I think that maybe that's Justin I'm thinking.
Okay, so it's just
Yeah. One of you does.
Okay, so 16, so 24 to hit.
I have like 65 enemies I'm trying to manage.
I know, you're great.
You got your one guy.
No, you're doing brilliantly. I was not complaining. I apologize.
Okay, sorry, what was your to hit?
So that was 24 to hit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And that's going to be 11 plus 5. Which is, oh my god, 16.
16?
Plus 2, because I'm still raging, so
18.
So that's
deal
1.
9 damage.
Okay. And I'm going to go again for my second attack, and that's going to be an 18 plus 8 to hit. That'll hit.
Yes, certainly it does.
And 2d6 is going to be 10 plus 8, so 18. Sorry, 17. So what, 9 and 8? Okay. So obviously it's and then can I move? Does it get?
And then you're gonna take damage for attacking it in melee range.
Right.
Woof, boxcars. You take 12 damage.
Okay.
Ouch.
So that's reduced, obviously.
Yep.
Fire damage
6.
reduced by you have a tank in your midst, ladies and gentlemen.
Fire damage reduced by what?
He is raging
Half.
as a bear totem barbarian.
Oh.
Every damage I
Half
take is
damage.
halved.
That is perfect. That's very good.
It was
to know.
all thanks to Joe who suggested it. She helped me very much with my character. She is the best.
Thank you. Ortho, what happened?
All right, so casually.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Harlan, did you have something else that you wanted to do?
Yeah, I want to know if I can move. Does it get an attack of opportunity?
If you leave its range,
Okay.
then yes.
Don't move.
So if you move past it, you can circle around behind it.
Okay.
But if you go into the room away from it,
let's
it will
go
get
behind it then. Why not? And didn't you say something shimmering was on me?
I'm sorry?
You said I thought he cast something that was shimmering, you said.
Yes, so you have a +2 to your AC.
Right. I didn't want to forget that. Okay, thank you.
How long does that last, Justin?
It's concentration.
Great. So concentration or 10 minutes usually, or 1 minute sometimes.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything else, but
so if you take damage, then you're gonna have to roll concentration checks, which
no
I
problem.
assume you know how to do.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll just roll with it.
Sure.
It's your turn. What would you like to do? So you see Rust make some good hits, and then he kind of strafes around this like fiery creature and gets kind of behind it.
And he licks his lips.
I see him shift positions, and I try to take
sexy-like.
Take full advantage of the situation. I casually draw my greatsword from my back, muttering a prayer to Torm as I step up the final 10 feet towards him. And I duck left, and he goes to react, but I'm going to do fainting attack.
Okay, what does that do?
So I'm going to spend a superiority die. And this is using my bonus action. I'm going to gain advantage on the attack.
Great.
And so I get an extra 1d8.
So you use your bonus action to be like, oh, I'm going this way.
Exactly.
And then you try to
stab
on the other way.
All right, so that's good. I did that. So that is going to be a 16.
That hits. Am I correct in thinking that the only one with magical weapons is Necro with the arrows?
That sounds fair.
I will stop asking now.
Okay.
Yep. So how much damage do you deal?
Gaining advantage on the... Oh, I actually gained advantage on the attack, so let me roll another d20.
In case you crit.
Yeah. Okay, no, I didn't.
All over the place.
So I add the die to the total damage, and that is going to be was 3. So 2d6 plus 6. A 6 and a 5. So 11 plus 6, so 17 slashing damage.
Nicely done.
And I'm going to use my action surge as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to use commanding strike.
Mm-hmm. So who are you commanding to attack?
I'm going to command, of course, Rust to attack.
Nice.
So Rust, since you are reckless, you can attack with advantage now. Necro essentially takes the creature's attention and then shouts a word that the two of you have agreed upon, and you are allowed. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ortho does this. The two of you have practiced these kinds of maneuvers before together, and so you are prepped for this.
Give him the old one too, eh, Ortho?
The old one too. It's always the old one too.
Is the flanking give me any sort of bonus?
That's not a thing in 5e.
I did not know that it was in any.
So if you hit, you got a +8 to your damage.
Ooh, I did very bad. That sucks. I got.
You
6.
have advantage.
I rolled advantage.
Oh.
I rolled a 3 and a 6.
Okay, 6 plus your
8.
strength plus your proficiency.
Yeah, that's 8.
So you have 12.
Yes.
No, 14.
Oh.
Sorry, 14.
14.
You still miss.
Is there anything I can add to that? Is there anything I can re-roll, or can I take a life?
You can use an action. Oh, I don't even know if you can use an action surge.
No, he already used, or he doesn't have that, I don't think.
Fuck.
Damn it.
Sucks.
I've got to take damage for attacking, right, or being in proximity.
You do, yeah. So you hit once, and Russ tried to hit.
Sorry, buddy.
So Ortho takes 5 fire damage,
Okay.
and
I'm going to use... No, I'm not going to use that. Never mind.
I think you already used your bonus action.
Use my bonus, but not my reaction.
Right.
But that's fire damage. Never mind. It's not an actual attack.
And so Rust, you take 4 fire damage, so 2 with your rage.
Damn.
Wonderful.
That would be very
It's
cool.
Sally the salamander's turn.
Don't humanize her. Then we will feel bad for killing her.
It's a boy. Let's not gender the monsters. Okay.
Why?
Going to attack Ortho with its spear. That is 18, which hits you for 12 piercing damage plus 9 fire damage.
Okay.
And then it uses its tail to hit Rust behind it with advantage because of the reckless attack.
I'm gonna react, by the way.
Okay. Please react.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I'll use Wrath of the Storm.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to do a Wisdom save or a Dex save. Dexterity.
Which one?
Dexterity.
Dexterity
for this one. Yeah.
Oh boy, that's a 4.
So he fails.
So he does fail.
All right. So he's gonna take 11 points of thunder damage. or
Ouch!
lightning damage.
This is the most you've seen it injured.
Nice.
Okay, and then it attacks Ortho with its tail and hits. It deals 10 bludgeoning damage plus 4 fire damage.
14.
And you are grappled.
Really?
It grapples you with its fire tail. You are restrained.
Me?
Mhm.
Okay.
So essentially that means that you don't have a movement and you lose your advantage for your reckless attack.
Damn.
Necro, what do you do?
I will have it do a dex save, and then against fairy fire, because that will give them advantage on their attacks as it outlines it.
Okie doke.
Seeing a creature in full fire and
That's a nat 20.
Oh.
No.
Is that because of my last comment? Is that what that was?
I'm sorry?
Is that because of my last comment? Is that...
GM, I didn't read your comment. Favoritism.
Otherwise, I'm just trying my...
So you cast Fairy Fire, and the creature shivers it away. And then you draw your bow.
Yes.
Wonderful. Rust, the creature has you grappled.
So-
if you would like to try to escape as an action, you can do so. Otherwise, you can just accept your fate and attack it as normal.
Attack it as normal, being grappled. What's the negative draw?
I mean, you're going to auto damage when its turn happens. And you have disadvantage on your attack and
Okay.
advantage on its attack.
If I try to break the grapple, will I get to attack again if I succeed?
No, because that's your action.
I see. Okay. I had a quick question actually that Rich pointed out. I got an obsidian dagger last game. Is that a magical weapon?
Obsidian dagger?
Yeah, it was in the cave of that creature. It was like
I
it
don't
was.
think you
Right.
did.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I totally forgot about it as well.
Not magical.
Okay.
Mundane. So 1d4 damage.
It wouldn't make any difference to this thing then. Okay.
No.
All right, then I will try to break the grapple.
Great. The DC is 14.
And I'm just.
So you have advantage on your strength check while you're raging, I believe.
Oh, that's right.
Hmm?
Huzzah! Oh, fuck off. 7. Jesus Christ. And then I'm adding
not
just
bad.
8. My strength?
Yes. So that succeeds.
Oh, good.
So you flex your biceps and the tail falls away from you.
Good. And that's my turn.
Yeah.
And okay, and I'm still within its distance. If I tried to move away, it would still get an attack of opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, then I will do something. I will sit. I will smile at the creature.
Don't
I will
sit
taunt
down.
it. Can I intimidate it? Can I do
Yeah,
that?
you can try to do that.
I'll intimidate it.
Sure.
No, you
Well,
know what I'll do? Where are the dwarves?
The dwarves are in the other room,
Can they hear
cowering.
me?
Yes.
I'm gonna intimidate them.
You're gonna intimidate the dwarves.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell them it's their chance to get off their lazy asses and kill this thing.
Can you do like an Eminem? I will give you advantage on your intimidation check.
lose yourself?
Yeah, if you do like a rap.
Your mom's spaghetti.
No, okay, so what I'm saying
If you
is
had one shot.
if you role play this for me convincingly, then I will give you advantage on your mechanical roll.
Okay. Now Rust has also, I don't have the words on me, but Rust grew up not grew up, but he was a part of a prison. So the spirit what?
Before you role play this whole thing,
Okay, let me roll
maybe
first.
do a perception check.
Okay, they might not be in earshot.
No, they can hear you.
10 plus 4, 14.
They have ankle shackles and they're exhausted.
What is that? What does exhausted mean?
They can't move very fast, and they don't have any weapons, and they won't necessarily be able to help you.
All right,
so
then I'm just going to intimidate the creature.
Inspired,
I'll intimidate the creature then. I don't know. Does it benefit any mechanical way? I have no idea.
Sure, let's see what it does.
Does it? Okay, I will intimidate it, and I will say, "Listen here, Sally Slithers. I want to fucking kill you." Just gonna say it as it is. With a 4, I don't get advantage to intimidate.
No, that wasn't great.
I didn't know I actually had to roleplay it. Sorry. For this thing too, it doesn't matter. I got a 4. I fail 8. I wouldn't have said anything interesting.
Okay, you just roar a wordless howl, and it sneers at you and breathes a little fire out of its nostrils. Whose turn was that again?
Rust's. Sorry.
Was that? Yeah, that was your turn. So Ortho, what do you do? This creature looks bloody.
Perfect. Seeing its weakness, I'm going to take the opportunity and slash at it, uttering the same word again at Rust, who I see behind, trying to intimidate it. And commanding strike, swap one of my attacks for the bonus action.
Great. So you don't get advantage because you did not reckless attack this turn.
No.
Rust, I mean.
Oh, okay. I was like, I didn't do that last turn.
No, because I was whatever thing, yeah.
But you do get to attack this creature.
Yeah, that's your reaction. All right, so we both get to attack, and 20...
10,
Natural 20.
18 to hit. Oh, nice. Oh, you go first.
Fucking right.
Natural 20. Shit! Natural 20, crit success. Da 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 da.
Da 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 da.
Da da
Roll. Fuck yeah.
Damage. Okay, so I got.
No. Listen up, because I had fans submit critical successes and critical failures for me last week.
Okay.
And I picked my favorites and I put them in a little jar and I swirled them around and I just picked them out and I put them in some soil and they grew beautiful crit flowers for us and I want you to pick one.
Okay.
Try rolling a d6 for me, please.
I will roll this d6. Here we go.
Yes.
Wow. A 4. I got a 4.
You got a 4.
Yeah, 4.
Okay. Thank you, Sabrina Goodpaster, for submitting this crit. The creature is subject to a wardrobe malfunction. Ooh. On top of dealing double damage for your hit, the hit tears through an important item worn by the target, dropping it to the ground.
No more fire.
So this could be a belt, the straps holding a piece of armor, the cord around a holy symbol or arcane focus, a weapon's sheath, backpack, etc.
Why don't you cut off its tail?
Salamander is not carrying any special equipment, so I will say you disarm it. That it drops its spear.
I cut its arm off.
The tail is the one that keeps hurting.
It does drop its spear. So roll.
I think I cut its arm off. So roll the damage. All right, so then that's basically double all of my die, right?
Not all of your die. All of the weapons damage dice get doubled. You add your superiority dice and the bonus as usual.
Gotcha. Okay. So I get my 2d6 doubled, so 4d6.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right. So I got a 4, a 3, a 3, and a 1, but I get to re-roll that 1 because of the fighter bonus.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So that's 10 plus 4, so 14 damage on that.
Lovely.
Then I'll add my superiority die next. 7, so 21.
Okay, that hits.
Oh,
sorry, is that damage?
that's damage. This is all damage, yeah.
Jeepers
21.
creepers.
And then plus 3, so 24 points of damage.
Holy crow.
Yeah.
Okay, it's almost dead. You're gonna take some damage, and then you've also ordered Rust to attack head on.
Yeah, and I hit with an 18.
Final hit.
3 points of damage unto you, Ortho, for the fire damage. Rust, you could kill it right here. How much damage do you deal?
Let's hope so.
And you get a +7 to your attack.
Do I?
Your damage as well.
7, 7 is 14.
Your damage.
Yeah.
Woo!
7, 7 is 14
This
plus
could
5 is
happen.
19 plus 2. So 21 damage.
Yeah, what does it look like when you kill this thing?
So
Nice.
Ortho, are you stabbing it when you attack it?
No, I slashed its arm.
Okay, so you slashed its arm, and as it sort of reels back from your attack, it sort of just stops. As you see my blade driving from behind it through its stomach and abdomen and coming up towards its chin and through, and it just sort of splits in front of you as the fire goes out and it falls onto either side. 2 piles of ashes with a wet thud. And I look at you and I say, yeah. It's not anything. And let's stop there for the mid-game pose! That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is the part of the show where we stop the action and we jump to the Facebook group where we ask you a question about tonight's game. What's the question tonight, Joe?
Oh my god, what's the question? Well,
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's gonna be okay,
Fucking-
so let me tell you. This dungeon, I was telling the boys a little bit before we got on stream, is the success or failure of these characters is going to be largely dependent in the details, the environmental details. You're going to have to pay attention to what's going on around you. Is there a minecart in the way? Is there not a minecart in the way? Is there a salamander down the hallway? I want to know which of you is paying attention when I was describing the elevator. I want to know how many feet in diameter is the elevator shaft.
I know.
I hope you do.
I know. I respect it.
Good. Thank you again, Sabrina, for submitting the crit success that Justin got to activate. That was really fun. Thing that he got to do.
That was very good.
Thank you for that.
Well done, Sabrina.
Wardrobe malfunction.
And the question is posted right now. The mid-game post. The details matter. How many feet in diameter is the elevator shaft? Answer away.
Ooh, satisfying. Yeah, it's funny. There's like a perfect balance to walk between being totally reckless and being way too cautious.
It is, yeah. And I tend to be on the more cautious side because I don't want to die. And Joe scared me.
Now you guys are in it though. Like
Now we're in it.
You're
like,
down in the shit.
We're in the shit. I know, but I still worry.
No, I'm sorry. You have some shield dwarves that you can maybe talk to later. There's a bucket chain. There's lots of cool stuff going on in this room. You're in the middle of the bucket chain.
You've mentioned it 4 times. I literally wrote it down because I know it's important. You would not have mentioned it that many times if it's not important.
There's a lot of moving parts down here.
I'm thinking we get in one of those buckets and it like takes us wherever the fuck we need to go, dependent on what we're actually looking at. Because you've mentioned it too many times for it to be not important.
Let's think for a minute while people answer this mid-game post. What typically happens to rock inside
It's
of a
melted,
forge?
so they're gonna get like. I'm thinking that scene in like Star Wars.
Temple of Doom.
Yeah, the Star Wars
2, the shit one.
Clone Wars, yeah.
Yeah, where they're like, you know, that whole fight scene.
R2D2 and C3PO.
That's what it's gonna be, or the Hobbit.
So hopefully you don't get tipped into a pile of molten lava.
Yeah, that's how it would be. But it also would give us an advantage to getting straight to where the source needs to be.
Yeah, totally,
Yeah,
totally.
we get to roll twice.
It's a risk. I'm thinking we just cut the fucking rope, hang that thing down, or just jump out of it, depending on how deep it is. All right, we got a lot of right answers. Now, my understanding, now that enough people have answered, was that it was 80 feet.
Correct. It's an 80-foot diameter.
I think Harlan wins the mid-game post. Pat himself in the back.
I'm seeing Mycl. I'm seeing John. I'm seeing Mike, Kyle. I'm seeing Dustin. So why don't we roll 1d4?
1d4 it is. Yeah, I did you boys know that?
I was 20 feet.
You were so wrong.
Because of the conversation you had on.
I know, because I know the platform is 60, 10 on either side, because I did my math wrong.
See, Dustin said 80 with a 60-foot platform. I'm very impressed.
That was very good. That's exactly what I had in my notes too.
Dustin.
And you know what? It was a 4, so I think he wins. Let's see.
Yay!
2, 3, 4. Woo! Well done, Dustin. And I think that's the first time you've won a mid-game. I think. I don't know. Dustin Wright works for Chaosium. They're the company who makes Call of Cthulhu, the role-playing game. So huge shout out to Dustin.
Cool.
He's our man on the inside.
You got the COC, yeah, you know me.
He's actually
COC, yeah, you know me.
He's actually sent us Christmas cards every year for the past 2 years from Chaosium.
Amazing.
He is a sweetheart and a half, and he won MVP or something like 2 weeks ago. I was gonna say for the hurricane, no, but because he had a tough go of it with the hurricane. So, and our thoughts. And he rescues birds. He's a dreamboat. So well done, Dustin. You're a good guy. Nice. You just win the good guy pose. We should have another way. Just the good person. Just the good person pose.
Yeah.
The GPP. Just someone who we like. It's like, yeah.
We don't need more acronyms.
The G double P. Let's even make it shorter.
MGP.
Mom spaghetti.
MVP.
All right. That is enough about that. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, back to Joe for the game. And her elf ears.
Actually, back to the three of you. You stand in the middle of a mine tunnel. A salamander. You know when you like cut the head off a snake and it still counts? I have a lot of snake knowledge, I guess. It's like writhing around on the ground a little bit.
I remember doing that. I caught snakes.
Like curls up on Rust's leg and like, let's go.
Oh yeah.
I walk up to both of them, putting a hand on each shoulder. Gentlemen, you fought well. But do not forget, it was I that slew it. With a constant barrage of spells you could not see because it was.
And I walk away from him and I'm like, just go listen and see if anyone's following us.
Fine.
I take a knee and say a prayer to Torm.
And I'm going to check the body because it's D&D.
It is D&D.
Any other game, I'd be like out of there.
Interesting. It carries nothing on its body. It has a mundane
The trident isn't special?
No.
It's a motherfucking trident.
Weird. So
it is a motherfucking trident.
I'm gonna do a perception roll in this room anyway. And I'm going to see nothing with a 3. So I'm gonna walk around to the dwarves.
Great. Yeah, there are 4 shield dwarf slaves. They have ankle manacles. The dwarves have been busy transferring ore from mine carts to the bucket chain.
I'm gonna order them against the wall.
You're gonna order them against the wall.
No, I speak Dwarven. Or no, I speak Orc, but it's Dwarvish script, so I write on the wall, "Go against the wall." Now I just kind of point, like.
Yeah, they kind of shuffle to the wall very slowly. Their ankle manacles clinking. There's like 2, and then there's an empty space for the ankle manacles where obviously there would have been another one, and then there's another 2.
And I kind of tell them to sit down, and when they do, I take my water skin and I give them some water.
They're very grateful. The one
medicine check on them as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna soften them up a bit first.
Yeah. Necro, roll a medicine check for me.
And obviously, sorry, I want to bring them to the wall, like away from. You know, if someone walking by is going to see this shit. Like, if I have to bring them back a little bit to the stairs or whatever, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Let me tell you a little bit more about this room. Essentially, the bucket chain has got a hole in either wall, the east and west wall.
Yeah.
And that it essentially just permits the bucket chain to move through the wall, but there is no entrance or exit from this room apart from the bucket chain.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
This is a dead end from the mines.
That's actually perfect because that means we can talk to them without having
Yes.
to worry.
Yes. So they're against the wall. You give them some water. Necro assesses their condition.
It's a 13.
They're suffering from exhaustion.
Did the water help at all?
They're grateful.
Okay, and
They would need to rest at least 24 hours mechanically to relieve one of these levels of exhaustion.
That's fine. Can they still speak when they're exhausted?
Yeah, they can talk.
And knowing Dwarvish script, does that not benefit me at all to speak to them?
They speak common.
Perfect. So I lean down and I give them my water and I look as sympathetic as I can as I give them each as much as they want. And
yeah, a young girl drinks greedily. Thank you so much.
And I say, of course, no one should have to be.
You killed that thing, but there's more upstairs.
Don't worry about it. Relax. And I put a sort of a thick, calloused palm calmingly on her shoulder, trying to.
Yeah, it's like at the size of her face.
Yeah, but he does it. I do it warmly.
Yeah, totally.
To try to be nice about it, and I break a piece of ration and give them some.
She starts crying.
No, I feel like Batman a bit.
Yeah,
it's all right. What? How long have you been here? There's 4, you said?
Yeah, the girl, she's like the spokesgirl, I guess, for the 4 of them. There's like a withered older man, and then there's 2 young dudes. She's like wiping away her tears. I've been here just a couple of weeks. They took me from Citadel Felbar, where my family is.
It's gonna be all right. We're gonna get you home. I need to know some things, though. Can you answer some questions for me?
Of course, yeah.
What are you mining?
This ore, it's rocks. I mean, she stops and she's like, well, sorry, I'm a dwarf. I should know better.
That's okay.
It's iron ore, mostly. There's some adamantine veins in the rocks, but they've been mined long ago, so just taking what we can.
Do you know what they're building?
Oh my god, the Colossus. It's terrifying.
Tell me what you can about it.
Well, the Duke, he thinks that he's gonna take over the world.
The Duke?
In Zalto?
Duke is Zalto.
Yeah.
I've never heard of him. Where is he from?
I don't know. He's he's a fire giant Duke here, runs the place. Him and his terrible wife.
I'm gonna try to calm her down a bit so she's less hysterical.
Definitely. You can roll persuasion.
Yeah,
or...
let's try that. Mm-hmm. Just out of curiosity, how high is your guys' charisma? Am I like the lowest?
I got a -1 to charisma.
Good. And you?
I have a +1.
Okay, so we're on par. So 8 + 4, so 12. And I give her another ration to just sweeten the deal.
Yeah, I mean, she takes a couple more sobbing breaths and then is able to kind of answer any of your questions more calmly. What else do you want to know?
Duke Zalto, you said he's a fire giant.
Yeah, I guess he runs his place. He's got an awful son. You can hear him through there, and she points westward through the wall, the bucket chain.
A son? What's his son's name?
Zaltember or something like that. I don't remember.
Zaltemp?
He's just awful, very cruel man.
Is he a fire giant as well?
Of course, yeah. They're all of them.
Does he love his son?
I don't think there's any love down here. I mean, the slaves try to take care of each other, but this bucket chain, every time I load it, you have to think about, I mean, I'm not part of the slave wheel, but, and like she almost starts weeping again.
And Rust remembers, again, he sort of paused the poetry book behind his breastplate and sort of nervously shifts away from the 2 drow, which sort of linger in the corner momentarily. And he takes his massive thumb and just wipes a tear away from her eye, a soft part in this older half-orc.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of smiles as much as he can to her and says, "It's okay. You're fine now. You're safe. Listen,
Thank you.
Zaltemp, the fire giant, Zalto's son. You said he's in the next room."
Yeah, I think his name's Zaltember or something.
Zaltember.
He's vile.
In what way?
Torture, murder. He's a young boy, but with the body of an ogre. he's growing into his father's cruelty. I've only seen him a couple of times, but you can hear him through the wall. It's awful, and the screaming.
How many of the giants are down here? How many have you seen?
She counts on her fingers for a minute, and she's like, at least a dozen.
Where do these buckets head, and do you know where Zalto is?
I mean, Zalto is usually in the hall with the Colossus. The buckets go around, and then she points back through the wall where she told you that the sun was maybe, and she says that the buckets are emptied in that room. And indeed, there's like an insane heat coming from that room.
Are the buckets automatically emptied, or are they manually poured out?
No, there's giants in there.
Is there anyone down here that's sympathetic to the other slavers? Are there any giants that are sympathetic?
No, they're talking about ruling the world.
Is there any other way that you know out of here, besides the elevator and the stairs?
Well, the big doors in the hall. I've seen them once.
The words to open them, is it just the words, or do they require something?
I've never seen them open.
Just because I didn't write it down. What were the words to open them?
I will tell you should you need them, but you spoke them once and nothing happened.
Right. Didn't he have like a wand in his hand or something?
He had something.
I asked her, have you seen any giant with a wand? I describe it without sounding like an asshole.
No, she doesn't.
Okay.
She doesn't know what you're talking about.
Okay. I turn to the drow and I say, is there anything else?
Where do they keep the rest of the slaves?
There's a slave pen near the wheel. They switch them out when they get exhausted. We spend some time there sometimes.
Near the wheel? You mean upstairs?
No, it's this level. It drives the bucket chain. Every time I move ore from the mines into the buckets, I'm putting a weight on their shoulders.
Are there murmurs of a rebellion?
No.
No.
How much of the mines have you personally been through?
Oh, a couple of levels.
And I, as crudely as she can, I sketch out just in the ground, in the dirt, sort of where I say, this is the shaft, and this is where we came, and here's where we are. Are there any private...
She strikes through like the bottom 3 rows, and she says, these are active.
Okay. Are there any private quarters in there? Is there anything...
No, not that I've seen. It's just mining operation.
Have you seen the conch? I don't think you have, but...
The what?
A conch of teleportation. It looks like a shell, perhaps. Maybe. I don't really know.
No, I don't know what you mean. I'm sorry. I spend almost every hour I live in this room or in the tunnels or in the slave pen.
I tell her to rest here for as short as they can, and then to make their way... Oh, I guess there was movement above us, though, wasn't there, too?
She kind of gestures at the shackles around their feet. Can you open these?
Yeah, I'm not too... I say, yeah, 1 second. And I get up and I go speak to the drow.
Or how many dwarves are just in this room? Was
4.
it 4?
There's 4 of them, so it looks like the shackles
Sleepy,
would have held
grumpy,
us.
happy.
Yeah,
But
no,
there's...
cool. I will actually just use all my first level spells for the day then. Oh wait,
Okay.
I passed some, didn't I?
So hold on, and I put my hand on your chest.
Yeah.
What are you thinking of releasing them?
No.
Oh, good. Okay, just checking.
And I just go and cure them.
Yeah, that's fine.
Are there any other patrols that come in through this way? Any other guards that we can expect?
There are a couple more of those fire lizards in the active tunnels that I showed you.
They come through here regularly?
Yeah, they'll be around in another couple of hours.
Well, you have to understand, if we free you, if we unshackle you, and they find you, it's not going to be pretty.
No, we're gonna run. The 2 brothers, the younger ones, look at each other and they're like, we have to climb the stairs and get out of here.
No.
I don't know if that's gonna work.
You can, and basically what I would say is, my plan to the drow would be to unshackle them, maybe lead them back up to the 9th or even the 8th level to an alcove where they can rest there. But they can't go back up to the surface yet, obviously.
No. You'd have better luck in the caverns, which is a wild card.
Okay, well, then we would trust that they'd be able to find a way out safely. Is that
Yeah,
what
I mean, they're all dwarves. They're good underground. Like, they kind of ask if you couldn't help them with those shackles, but I guess none of you have thieves' tools.
Oh, we can break them.
I do. I've got thieves' tools.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. I'm more saying, like,
Oh, right, because
logistically, if we free something, are they going to, like, run into a giant and be like, we were set free, and then we're fucked?
I mean, you guys came down partly by the stairs. You didn't see any giants in the tunnels. In fact, some of the tunnels are too small for giants.
Yeah.
we're giving them an advantage they didn't have. What they do with their lives now is up to them.
No, I'm just saying I don't want them to go to the Yaks.
They're gonna have to go through the Yak folk village.
But that's what I'm saying. If they go to the
They are
Yak village
slavers, but-
and they're like, oh, we were freed by these people, and then they're like, well, let's tell the giants. Like, I don't know.
If you mention the Yaks to these dwarves, they say that those were the slavers that brought them to the mines.
Okay, so they know
and so
that.
they know to be well aware of what dangers await them.
You'll be fine as long as you wait until nighttime.
Actually,
they're pretty inactive at night.
The old man dwarf turns to you. He's all wrinkled and gray, and he says, "The Yak folk have a nasty habit of crawling under your skin."
Yak attack. Okay, well, we free them then, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to make you roll multiple sleight of hand checks because you're not really under a time constraint right now. You can just try until you succeed. So you do, and
Can we say we're doing a short rest too?
you can spend an hour in this room. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm gonna dump the salamander corpse into one of the buckets to be dumped and burned.
Will
That's
you?
a bad idea.
How
Why is
long
that
would
a
you?
bad idea?
Because when
Well,
it dumps,
don't
it's
they
gonna
get
be.
15
Oh, there's a
by
corpse.
giants in the other room.
I feel like it's just gonna burn up, wouldn't it?
Isn't that what happens? Didn't they just say that it goes to the giants in the other room?
Yeah, but it gets smelted.
So we're gonna send them a corpse?
Well, my logic is if they're in giant buckets, it's for holding like molten lava, right? Like you wouldn't look into a bucket and be like, "Yep, that's rocks. Next one." I don't know. Maybe I'm picturing it wrong.
Well, either way, this actually brings up a good point that we're going to be on a time constraint now. We're pretty much raising the alarm that now the.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. If it just disappears, then it's like, where did the salamander go? Whereas if they come down, it's like, oh, split salamander.
As the three of you question these dwarves and you speak with them and give them water and learn about this place, the buckets are going by and they are now empty.
That's the thing. Okay, I
exactly. So I say as I'm unshackling these people, you were freed in the name of Torm. Remember this.
You're freed in the name of Russ. Remember that.
Yeah.
And they thank you.
Okay, so now the buckets are empty. What's the game plan?
Game plan is to get out of here. They're going to be coming up here and checking on this level and possibly sending patrols around the rest of the caverns.
Should we take these buckets to the next room?
Or we just fill them. We just fill them as
Let's
they
just
come.
work forever.
You guys just work.
Let's just be our own slaves.
What's the game plan, guys?
Well, okay. So now there's a problem. There's empty buckets. We know that people are going to come. Maybe we use it to our advantage, like set a trap. Like I'm thinking, there's one way in and one way out. Basically, is what we're saying, right? Besides the buckets, there's the stairwell, correct?
Are you asking me or are you asking your friends?
And the
You
doors at the bottom.
to make sure I
So
understand.
essentially, there's the stairway up from this room, and
Right.
there's the buckets that are moving east out of this room.
So I mean, if we didn't do anything and we waited and we hid, and then a bunch of people came in this room, and then we like caused a collapse on the stairwell, logically, that's like a good chunk, possibly, depending on how many we lure in. No, I'm just thinking out loud.
Tell me how you would try to cause a collapse on a stairwell.
Well, we have mining tools and a bunch of rubble. Maybe
You
we
have a
can-
couple of pickaxes.
And an hour of time.
What if we
I don't know.
send Slip on the machine with your beast vision, and then we can see what the process looks like? Maybe
That's
get
not a
little
bad idea.
information.
Or even him, he could transform himself too. If that's easier.
The only problem with that is that it'll be a hard time getting back.
Right. Okay.
Slip, worse comes to worse, he just finds a new life out here.
So we know Zoltemp, the fire giant, which is
Zoltember.
Zalto's son.
Zoltember, yes. Like
Zoltember.
September, but with, yeah.
Sorry.
It can September.
Ba 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 ba, fire giant. He is so vile. Okay. Zoltember. So we know he's in the room next to us, the one that's receiving the buckets.
The one where the buckets are coming from empty.
It is the room he's in.
Yes.
Okay. So they must be going in a circle then, wouldn't they? Logically. I mean, if they're
Okay,
coming...
we send the mouse and see what their reaction is, and then we run, depending on what their reaction is. I would love to see this character. I'd love to see the scene with my mouse in there, and then he hops out, and they're like, "What is this? It's nothing but a mouse." And then this guy's like, "Search the caverns," you know.
Now that I know the buckets are going through empty anyway, then absolutely, let's put the salamander body in.
So, yeah, about
Oh, that's badass, too.
5 or so, maybe
Might as well
10
make
buckets have gone by empty since you've been standing in this room. They're not moving fast, but they are moving through empty now.
Well, no, maybe you're right. Maybe they're like inspecting the buckets. I just figured.
And then
I go up
we
and
burn the dwarves,
I go up and feel the bucket. Is
and
it...
then that way they'll think they.
Oh. And we write a sign in charcoal. We write a sign on it that says "Ho ho ho."
All right. Now I have a machine gun.
Now I have a machine
Fuck! I love it. Now I just want to watch Die Hard. I would stop right now and watch Die Hard. Anyway, I go up and I feel the warmth from the bucket. Does it feel like they were holding any molten anything, or were they emptied?
They are hot, but they do not seem red hot.
Okay, so more than likely they were dumped.
Room,
rather
like
than
you
dumped.
can see through part of the hole where the buckets.
Okay, it's
are
not big enough
coming
to
from?
just pass through without being in the bucket itself. Okay.
Exactly, but where the buckets are coming from, you see the glow of lava.
Okay. So maybe then getting into them would give us sort of an eye view of what the other mining operations are, but we'd have to stay pretty hidden. Because basically the logic is if they're coming from that room where Zoltember is, which is the room that they're being dumped in, which is the room that's being the smelting room.
Yep.
Every other room preceding that would be a collection room. Therefore, by getting in now, we're going to be going into another room with dwarfs and serpent people making those dwarfs so it's sort of a pretty risky bout if we're going around those, right? Because like we're just going to be sitting there and the minute someone throws shit.
The room with the sun.
But that's at the end of the line, is what I'm understanding.
The buckets are coming from the room with the sun.
Exactly.
Oh,
Also, some distance from you, Necro, you saw another view of this bucket chain.
Yeah,
that was the room where you saw orcs, and they were carrying long poles. You didn't see what they were up to, but you didn't see any slaves.
But you see what I'm saying? Like if we're at the beginning of the chain and it's like a full circle.
Yep.
It's the riskiest bout. What we want to do is get into the one right before that room, if that's what we want to do, even. Because I have no fucking idea right now.
Okay, let's send Slip ahead in one of the buckets, and then we'll jump into the next one.
Yeah.
And then you can watch what's coming ahead, and then we can plan for that.
The buckets are only about... I'm sorry?
I didn't take Beast Bond this time.
I have it.
Oh, right. Okay.
As a 10-minute ritual.
Yeah, so I can spend 10 minutes doing it and then an hour in its head.
So as you wait...
Well, here's what I was going to say. Necro, why don't you head to the top of the stairs, or whoever's quiet, and be a lookout while we're doing all this nonsense.
Sure.
You're going to see... I mean, maybe... like... 60, 80 buckets go by in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's a lot of buckets.
Well, what's the plan then? Someone else suggest something, because I don't know.
Let's just hop in. Let's just hop in.
Doesn't that seem like a terrible idea?
It does seem like a terrible idea.
Then
These are huge buckets, shall I say. They are 10 feet long.
And they are high?
They are 8 feet deep, and they are 6 feet wide.
Will we have to do a climb check to get out?
No.
Okay.
Can I do a perception check just to make sure I'm not missing anything blatantly obvious with 16?
In this room?
In anything. As I'm looking through where the buckets are heading. 16.
You can't see very much because it's kind of like a 40 or 50 foot long corridor that the buckets travel.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really get an angle into the room, but that seems to be a huge chamber beyond you.
All right. Well,
let's try it.
Are the three of you all hopping in the same bucket?
are we just saying fuck it and going?
I'm just saying fuck it. I'm gonna go. I mean, it is pretty much like. Is there any way that the buckets can like pivot downwards? Is it like?
Yes.
Is there a dumping mechanism? There is
Yes.
a dumping mechanism.
Yeah, they get dumped.
Okay.
I'm just trying to visualize how we got here too. We went down that stairwell, and so we could potentially go back up to the elevator.
No, let's do this.
I'm just saying we wanted to. All right.
We could.
So you jump in.
I jump in.
I'm like,
Cool.
fuck it, he's dead.
If I die,
So only Ortho goes in.
I will shout.
I'll go in too, I guess.
Are you
too.
going in the same one or the one behind
I
him?
guess
Go in the one
same
behind.
No, you never split
No.
the party. Same one.
No, but I'm not splitting the party. If something happens to me, then you at least know what's coming.
Same one. Same.
Necro?
I was gonna go in a different one, but I guess we'll go in the same one. It
Suit
makes sense
yourself.
to do the one after, though.
Yeah, so it's it's Rust and Ortho, and then in
If
the
he dies,
following
it might as well be a
it's
total party kill
Necro?
anyway.
Yeah. I think I'd go in the one after.
Okay, so the
Alright.
three of you hop in buckets, Rust and Ortho in a first bucket, and Necro in the second bucket.
As Rust is like, this is a bad idea.
The dwarves have
know.
already bowed their thanks to you and ran off.
We asked them where the buckets went. They didn't know
They
anything,
don't
right?
know.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, yeah, that's where they get filled. The hot acid. Or the...
Yeah, that's right.
if they thought it was a horrible idea, maybe they would have
Yeah.
said something.
All right.
But I know
So-
that we're going into a room filled with orcs.
No, you
Not
don't know
necessarily.
that.
Well, eventually we would, yeah.
I'm Polygon revealing a room for you on roll 20.
Roll 20.
You move for some time down this long corridor. I imagine the three of you peeking very adorably over the
No,
tops.
we don't peek over the top.
Oh, what are you doing? You're just
While we're waiting, I'm
peeking
whispering
over the top.
I'm whispering to Slip, and I just put Slip on it.
okay. So Necro is
I don't know. I feel like it's a bad idea.
Over the top, I would imagine, but
great.
Well, we
You
can do it
travel
ourselves.
into a massive chamber. Let me tell you how big this is. It's 350 feet long and 260 feet wide in the middle. This is the 2-story assembly hall that Necro saw from the elevator. There are wide iron gantries that extend a short distance into this extremely vast chamber. There's one on the north, one on the southwest side, and one on the east side. They form balcony-like platforms from which this multi-story room can be viewed. The ceiling is about 40 feet above the gantries. The floor is about 50 feet below, and the bucket chain rattles along just a short ways above the gantries. So you're traveling, if someone was standing on the gantries, you're traveling about head height. So you're on the second story of this giant room. And as you observe it variously, either by peeking adorably over the rim of your bucket or through well, you can't see through a mouse's eyes, Harlan, or else you would have had to spend 10 minutes.
Well, I want to be adorable, so fine. I'll peek over.
Great. So this chain moves again from west to east. You see across the room from you, very far in the distance, the buckets made miniature by their distance, as a chain in the south that's moving east to west. Clearly, there's a circle happening.
Me too, Mike.
So, the gantries, etc. There's a staircase leading down from the southern gantry. You can see on the map here as I indicate. There are a couple of hallways that you can see as you pass. So on the very southern wall, you see another portcullis that blocks a narrow southern passageway.
Sorry, in this assembly room.
This is an assembly hall. Yes.
Assembly hall. Was there any any
enemies,
humanoids or anything in it?
Yes, definitely. There are.
She wasn't there yet.
I'm explaining the mechanics of the room.
Yeah. Okay. No, just because we wanted to get into the last room so we could just run across.
For sure. This is important. So you're traveling about 60 feet in the air right now in your buckets.
Right.
From one side of the room to the other. You also see in the northern side of the room, there's another hall, or I guess it's a room that you can see into, but as you pass the hallway leading into the room, you see just kind of a sliver. There are a number of fire giants and ogres hanging out, arm wrestling and such.
I don't think this is the room, Russ.
In
Don't get out here.
In the assembly room, this giant room that you are traveling through slowly in your buckets, you see, oh my goodness, how do I even explain? Cranes that extend out from the western and eastern gantries on the second floor hold huge fragments of some colossus. There's an enormous greatsword. It's bigger than any Rust's house, bigger than any house he's ever lived in. A giant gauntlet-like hand and forearm hanging at the same level of the gantries, hanging in midair, held by chains bolted to the floor and ceiling, a helmed head and upper torso. These fragments are almost too big to be believed, dwarfing even the giants you have seen. And now I will tell you about some humanoids. If you're not exhausted from listening to me talk.
Never.
No, I'm still on.
As you sit, I guess you're standing with an 8-foot tall bucket. One of you must be on the other's shoulders, or else you're clinging to the sides. You are clinging in awe of this grand and terrifying hall. The clamor of chains and the forge in your ears. The thunder of giant footsteps announces you are not alone in this room. Through the holes in the iron, you observe a richly appointed fire giant with a huge red beard and a lined gray face. The plates of his armor clatter as he moves, big as dinner tables and beautifully made. He hefts a 4-foot diameter iron ball and throws it across the room, whereupon 2 huge, ashen black and vicious-looking monsters chase the ball, blasting it with their fiery breath and snapping at each other. Something rattles around inside the ball as it is fought over. He laughs, then a wild and terrible sound. From your vantage, you can see the giant carries a large, curiously hollow-looking giant maul.
So 3.
3 baddies that you can see in this giant room. Okay. Oh, and yes, the adamantine doors on the southeast side.
Oh, those are the doors that we recognize from the outside.
Correct. Yes.
Perfect. Southeast.
It's a slanted door. Sorry, I will give you more than that.
Oh, perfect. Okay, Mycl.
Sure.
Well, it doesn't. You don't have to, but Ortha can do it. I feel like your perception's better though.
Mine's okay. I think his is definitely better.
Key.
Now, I did want to comment. So the short rest we took.
When did you take a short rest?
Yeah, back in the
17.
Back in the dwarf.
Okay, well that would change everything because that's an hour of empty buckets going by.
Oh yeah. No,
oh yeah. No, you did say that we could wait there for an hour, and I thought.
I mean, you can, but then things will have changed.
Yeah,
greatly.
let's not.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Mycl, do you see anything with your drow eyes? What I told you.
No, top of the bucket's too tall.
I'll do it then. I just want to check to see if the buckets on the opposite side are now empty. Meaning, are we going to be passing? Fuck off.
There are very few that are filled to the brim, to the point where you would be able to discern whether they're empty or not. But there are a couple that you can see rubbles.
Are filled.
Yes.
Which means we're not in fear of being dumped into the molten between now and then. I'm explaining that to Ortho. We're at risk of having rocks put on us, but we're not at risk of the molten, which is good to know.
Ortho's passive perception, she notices that there is a giant helm being strung between floor and ceiling, the head height of this colossus, inside the eye socket of which there is a massive ruby that is worth untold riches.
Okay. I mean, this is not the place we get out, so...
Unless you want to fall very, very far.
And then have 3 fucking enemies at least, and the possibility of all the other ones. Sure. So we stay in.
Everyone's happy continuing on their merry way?
Yeah, is there anything that you guys have, or Ortho I should say, that would prevent some sort of... Well, you're not really a mage, never mind. Let's continue.
Prevent what?
If rocks suddenly came pouring in on us.
Shield of Faith.
Cool.
But no, I don't think I'd be casting that. We'll be able to see into the next room before that happens to us, most likely.
Okay.
So, you continue on your eastward journey in a bucket chain. As you exit this giant hall, you enter another smaller passageway carved through this mountainside. And then you can see at the end of the passageway a large room, but made dwarven in size by the huge assembly hall that you were just in. This room sounds busy.
This is the room with all the orcs in it, so.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where they're going to be filled up too, so it's either a battle or...
This is a dressing hall. As you
is it possible to exit in between the passages?
Yeah, you can if you're clever and move slowly between the buckets, yes.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think right now, because there's no real option with fighting. How many were there? You said 24, right?
Those were goblins. That is on a different floor.
Oh, my apologies. What did you see in this room, Necro?
You saw 1 orc.
Oh. I can take 1. Hey.
He saw 1 orc through a hallway 10 hours ago.
Right. Okay, well, maybe it's not so bad then. Can we see as we peek around the side?
Yes, as you see, I will narrate to you what you see.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. The room's 90 feet wide by 200 feet long. A 10-foot wide, 10-foot tall fireplace hewn out of stone hosts a gas-fueled bonfire in the middle of the eastern wall. Remember, I'm telling you about all of this, not just so that we have a mental picture, but so that you can use it to your advantage. If you like.
Say that again. I heard fireplace and then I got distracted.
It's giant. There's a huge fireplace in the middle of the eastern wall.
I heard gas, though.
Yep, there's no wood down here. It's all natural gas.
Oh, good.
There's a massive chain moving through the room from north to south that you arrived on. Again, the bucket's very big. On the southern wall of the room, a set of metal doors, 20 feet tall and 40 feet wide, conceal whatever lies beyond. Inside the room, 8 orcs are working under the watch of a fire giant.
Oh, that's not good.
The orcs are using long poles to tip the bucket's contents onto the floor, sifting through the rock and ore for impurities and shoveling ore back into the buckets before they rattle back through the southern wall. The orcs are sweating with their labor and the heat of this room, but the fire giant seems comfortable, walking around slowly and inspecting their work. You have maybe 10 seconds to decide what to do before someone notices you.
I cast guidance on Rust and say we gotta get out.
What's guidance?
That gives you a plus D4 to your next ability check.
Great.
But this is the time to get out, though. Otherwise, we're gonna be.
Can you distract them though? Oh, you're saying how we haven't rounded yet, or we're about to be dumped out?
No, you guys exited the buckets in the hallway
Yes.
and moved between them stealthily so that you could get a glimpse of the room that I described.
Okay.
I'm
we
saying
did exit well.
you have about 10 seconds before you are noticed.
And there's no way we can get back, like, on either side of the buckets.
Yeah, you could scooch.
Well, we're gonna fucking scooch then, because I'm not going in that room just
Y'all
yet.
want to scooch?
Yeah.
Scooch.
All right.
8
scooch.
orcs and a fire giant.
I will shape change again into a spider. So.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Cool.
I'm gonna be scooching back along that wall.
Yeah, so I mean, the wall ends at a chasm that opens into
That's
a
fine.
giant room.
You know what I want right now? Just time to fucking think. I want to like scooch until no one can see me and just be like, okay.
You noticed when you entered the room with the orcs and the fire giants, they're all kind of talking
They'll
about
have to be, right? Here's my
there's
thinking to
no-
Ortho.
why there's no
Exactly.
ore
They're
in the
gonna-
buckets anymore.
We're gonna get a lot of hopefully them leaving, right? To fucking
Yeah.
go check what the problem is. That's
Yeah. Hopefully the giant takes
yeah,
control.
and then a few of the orcs too.
Hey, check and see if there are any ways to open that door, Necro, before you leave.
Yeah, so Necro, you are a
Okay.
spider right now in this scary room watching the orcs and the giants puzzle with their poor intellect over why this might be empty bucket time.
You're not scooching.
All right. Well, I will. All right. I will try to stealthily move along. I don't want to get too far from these guys.
Like I said, it's about a 200-foot long room. So
But you did want me to go check out the door.
Yeah, I
It-
guess.
you would have whispered to her before scooching.
Before
Alright.
scooching.
Because my rolls have been lovely. I had 120. That was exciting. So I guess I will stealth across. Fortunately, I didn't have time to cast. Oh no, wait! I've got time, don't I?
Yeah.
Well, before I shape change, I will cast Pass Without Trace again.
I mean, I will just tell you, you can save that spell as a
Okay.
spider. These are pretty big creatures. They're not going to be paying attention to you. So
Okay.
keep that for when you
That
are
spider looks weird.
medium.
What the fuck?
Kill it!
Yeah, I will scooch along. Spider. I don't know what.
Where are you going?
Spider noise. Spider noise. Spider noise.
Spider
Spider,
noise.
spider.
Spider noise. Make some noise.
Well,
as
I
a
guess
spider does.
along to where they wanted me to go to.
To
see
the
door.
south. The door to the south.
Okay. It's an iron door. It's 20 feet tall.
You fit under it.
Yeah, you can scooch.
Scooching. It's the scooching is the name of the game.
Scooch. There's a room there. It's not super exciting in terms of rooms.
It's only got this weird conch thing looking. You know,
It's a dark room that has a big giant-sized basalt table. Some barrels of liquid.
basil? Butter?
Hell,
Margarine?
BASALT. Basalt.
Basil?
Basalt.
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 Some barrels of liquid with iron instruments poking out of them. There are some manacles on the wall.
Alrighty, but empty.
Of humanoids, yes.
All right.
Is that it? It's just a dead end?
No, because there's another.
Looks
Wait.
like it, but I don't. Is.
There's no additional doors leading from this
Oh,
room.
okay. No, that's it. So it's like an office?
Giant
Overseer's office.
Oh, okay, right.
Hey, maybe you should
conch. Look for a map.
come to life in there. Like, come back.
Yeah.
and
Is
take a look
there
around.
anything on the desk?
It's a huge desk, so about 8 feet tall, or maybe
I will scuttle
6
up.
feet tall. You scuttle up on top of the desk. You don't see anything that interests your spidery eyeballs. Yeah,
Are you
there's
sure? 'Cause I
there's
like-
some torture
8
implements.
eyes, looking all over the place.
Yeah, no, there's some implements of torture. I do like the eyeball gesture though.
All right. Then I will go back and let them know that it's essentially a dead
Did
end.
you
So-
do like a perception roll or whatever though? Like, is that like legit?
It's legit. You don't
Okay.
have to make it.
Just checking.
He's got a very good passive perception.
I figured. I just want to make sure because it seems odd to have a room with no real. Well,
It's a torture
It does.
room. There are manacles hanging from.
oh, it's a torture room. Okay, that makes sense. I was thinking like an office for some reason.
Yeah, an office of torture. These are evil.
Sorry, darling. I need to get to the
Welcome.
office. There's a man waiting on my desk.
Professional here.
Excuse me, I've been waiting for 15 minutes out there. When are we gonna get
Yes,
torture?
I'm coming. Don't worry.
Shut up. So you scuttle back across the room. As you do so, you realize that the fire giant has vacated the premises and the orcs are hanging out. They're smoking pipes.
Orc
Chilling.
pipe.
Oh, excellent.
Pipes.
Orc weed.
And how
That's
many orcs
kinda
were there?
8.
Are they continually dumping out the things?
No, no one's dumping anything anymore because these are empty
Perfect.
buckets now.
Well, let's just take the empty buckets on the way.
Oh yeah, let's just hop back in.
Why not? They're not checking them.
There you go.
It's risky,
So-
but logic says, why the fuck would they suddenly be like, yep,
Yeah, maybe I'll just check this one.
right? It's gonna be what it is.
So Necro goes back, changes back into drow form, I assume.
I would think so, yes.
You might as well
because
just climb on my shoulder for now. There's no
everything
real
else
need to.
I need to do
I mean,
that way.
she would have to tell you about the fire giant, right?
Yep.
Spider voice.
No, she doesn't have a spider voice.
Do you have beast talk?
I have beast talk.
You'd have to spend 10 minutes.
I'm
Right.
joking. Okay, so you transform back down and tell
Get
us?
out of my head!
Can I? So if we peek around the edge and just watch them for like a minute, and like 4 buckets pass and they don't do anything, right?
I'm
Yeah.
going to...
Okay. What are you gonna do?
I actually have disguise self. So I could disguise myself as an orc.
Don't risk it. Let's do this. I'm gonna go back to the
Takes a
farthest
lot
one.
of charisma.
I'm going to the farthest one from the entry point, meaning closest to the chasm, and I'm going to climb in that one.
Okay.
Giving even the weirdest, slightest rock the longest time to settle. That's my reason.
And the
These
oh,
are big fucking iron
I'm
buckets.
not taking any risks.
Great.
I'll even put
when
rocks
we
on myself.
when we
Oh,
look
hey!
over,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
were the buckets tipping for them, or were they just? Do they stop
No,
there for
they-
a couple minutes, or they just? Keep
That's what the
going?
hook was. Remember she said he had a hook?
I see. Okay,
So, yeah, am I right?
Yeah.
and then the hook would dump
Yeah.
it.
So what they were doing
Yeah.
is dumping it, but once they're empty,
So
then-
they've got the orcs, as Necro passes back through the room, the orcs have their poles leaned up against a wall and they're like joking around and smoking.
Okay. And just before I get in that bucket, do I know anything about orcs? Can I roll any sort of arcana, any sort of logic on anything to like? Do they have a great sense of smell?
Tell me what you want to know.
I'm half orc, so do they have a great sense of smell? Like, would they be able to smell me in a bucket? Do they have a sense of the great listening? Is there anything that would make me think, oh, wait a minute, this is risky?
I think that because you're half orc, you would know all about this.
And tell me, is there any sort of risk that I would suss out?
You as half orc and your companions as drow probably smell more like slaves to the orcs than you would smell like an orc to them. But you know that these buckets smell like slaves anyway, because they're slaves in the other room fucking around with them day in, day out.
Okay.
So you're probably okay.
All right, then let's do it. And I say we all go into one. On the worst case scenario, that's the one they pick. Then we all
Jump out. We get the
fight
jump.
together.
We get the
Exactly.
jump.
And again, farthest one to least amount of rocking. We get in and
Cool. So it takes maybe 5 minutes for you to go down the hallway and to pass through the room unaccosted. There are a couple of breathless moments when you hear an orc walk near
Let's
your
check the
bucket.
thing.
No, not like he's like walking near your bucket and then like
so-
passes underneath the chain
Nice.
to like go out the door to like go check on something else, and then like you guys are out and through.
Brilliant. We silently high five. Zug zug.
You you pass now on the southern end of this great hall. traveling west
Brilliant.
in the bucket chain.
Now, can we peek over and look towards where the buckets are going?
Yeah, you see down a small hall. You watch. I mean, are you looking over the side of this bucket?
Dabu.
I am.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I'll be looking over because worst comes to worst, I'm really dark black, so I look like a piece of coal sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You
So,
do have. I mean, you have blindingly white hair, but
Yeah, that's.
I'll quickly shave your head.
Just scalp me right there. Thanks, man.
thanks,
Oh,
buddy.
All right.
This is where I would cast Pass Without Trace again, though, so I've got the plus.
Great. That's the range of self.
It is.
So-
That's what I'm thinking, but I could maybe peek out and over because.
Certainly. Yeah. I'm not going to make you roll a stealth. I will tell you that there are a couple of fire giants now in this assembly hall talking to this richly appointed duke, shall we say.
Zolto.
I don't understand any of the words. Well, I mean, I speak giant, so.
Um.
And I hear them, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're talking about the buckets. Why is this, what is stop production, etc. They're going to investigate.
We're on the other side now.
You pass over top of an iron gantry.
Should we hop out?
Oh, yeah, this is it. How far are we above it?
4 feet or so.
Oh, yeah, this is
The
it.
bucket clears the gantry by about 4 feet.
You think this is
Alright.
the spot?
This is the spot.
You
We
sure?
gotta get out now because we got the height advantage right now too.
Everyone roll a stealth check with advantage because the giants are all distracted downstairs.
I don't know if I want to get out yet. Or is this
Okay.
regardless?
I mean, if you want to get out, you can.
Well-
Oh, this is the big room again, right?
Yes.
Here's my thinking. If we just shimmied, or what was the word we used 1,000 times? Scooched. If we just scooched in the last hallway, maybe we just wait till the buckets go down the hallway, but then get out. That way we're not risking anything.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and then we can go to this staircase here and see where that leads.
Can we do that instead?
Can you do?
Let's do that.
Wait till the buckets go into the hallway a bit and then get out?
Yes.
Sounds safer.
In which case, you don't have to roll anything.
See, just do's.
Perfect. That's smart.
Now, where are you going? Which way?
why I'm the brain. I'm gonna jump out and we're just gonna scooch against the wall, and I just want to see where the buckets are going.
Okay. What room is that?
That's the cheese mill.
Mm-hmm.
Just delicious cheeses as far as the eye
Oxy
can see.
cheese.
You hear the grunting of ogres before you can move into a position where you can see more of the room. Do you want to continue?
Ogre sex party? No. I would probably send in the drow who can shapeshift again.
Send in the drow.
Send
I don't
in
know
the
if the drow
drowns.
can anymore. She's done 2
She done?
since. Yeah, she's out.
Okay, baby. All right. We maybe waste 10 minutes and try to get the
The mouse.
mouse.
Well, how many ogres are there?
You can't only hear them.
Want to hear them?
Well, that's what we heard, right? So we have a chance to hold up. I mean, look, that gantry. That's a risky move. Basically, is there a railing on it even?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Still,
here's the
though.
thing. Here's my thinking is that where we are right now, there's very little chance that we're going to be encountering the conch. Because...
Well, we don't know where it's going. Who knows? Maybe this molten room is the room of conches.
The conch room.
Conscious
This
now?
is probably where it's... Well, they refine the ore, don't they? And then they put it back into the other room. The orcs were.
They dump it out into like a molten bucket. Most likely, if this is just a circle, this is where all the buckets get dumped into the molten whatever.
I'm thinking, while the gantry may be a risk, we might want to get off of the chain because they're going to be inspecting the chain line, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, we're off the chain right now for sure.
Oh, yeah.
What?
We're off the hook, yo.
Off the chain.
Yo.
Alright.
I just want to see what the next room sort of entails in a safe way, so that we can
All right.
rule it out.
Let's do the 10-minute thing. Let's just check with Slip quickly.
10 minutes
Well-
isn't a long time, and they're not. Look, there's none of these creatures would
I
fit
mean-
here anyway.
Mycl, did you cast Pass Without Trace?
Yeah, I was gonna say I've got a +16 to stealth right
Oh,
now.
then you just
Oh,
go
you do
look.
it, yeah.
We'll stay here.
So I'm feeling pretty confident.
So you stealth.
Doesn't mean I roll a 1 or anything, but
You stealth to the end of the room.
Famous last words.
yeah, yeah. Because again, with my stuff, I can also like if I'm hiding, it also works against dark vision as well.
Roll stealth.
I kind of like the way you were just kind of rolling with it. And so, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
What did he get?
I saw a 2 and then a
That's
12.
a 12
Mm.
plus
Oh,
6.
no.
I rolled plus 16.
Yeah.
Yes. So 28 total. Okay, you see a room with a giant wheel in it.
Oh.
You watch as 20 slaves turn a great wheel. About 10 dwarves, 10 humans or so, all with iron manacles around their feet. There are 2 ogres that are heavily armored that essentially verbally abuse these slaves and physically abuse them when necessary to keep the wheel turning. And that is the room. There's a fireplace in the northern wall.
As we are in this little hallway, I turn to Ortho as he's looking up and I say, come back for a second. Come back for a second. And we walk out to the gantry. Is the Duke there still?
Yep.
I'm going to ask Ortho to see if he can do a perception check on him and see if he's got it. I don't know, maybe there's a conch hanging on his belt for all I know. You know, try to give him just a once over.
Sure. We'll take a quick look.
Because I'm thinking, and I was thinking the same thing, but Dustin said that it's possible he's carrying it on him, which makes the whole thing a lot more complicated.
All right, so I got a 19 on perception.
You don't see anything you would call a conch visible on his person.
Okay. Nothing.
Mm.
But I'm gonna. Well, we duck back in, and I say I can get more information on him. But
I just think we
I think
need
it's
to be
best that we
thinking
sneak
about what
around.
our next step is.
well, what have we found? Where would they keep the conch? It's got to be somewhere that they want to protect to the highest, right?
Yeah.
We're on working floors right now. We're not in really high security places. Maybe if we moved downwards, we'd be able to find something, an area that was more.
Just think if we move
security.
down, it's even riskier. But that might
It
be a
is
good idea.
riskier, but I don't think they're going to give up the conch easily.
Being in between these moving baskets is actually a pretty good place, to be honest, because it's not like the giants can come in here.
That's
And
true.
it's not
Unless they
like-
stop it.
It's not like
But
they're
even-
active tracks, you know, that people are like walking by, and even if they are, they're like ducking under them. It's not like they're gonna be like, "Ooh, what's that way down there?" They're probably pretty dimly lit too. Like you're not gonna have a light halfway through a moving hallway. I'm just thinking.
Rest here.
Well, what I'm thinking is, yeah, maybe a rest. But what I was also thinking is, from this vantage point where we are right now, we do have a shot of the door that they're coming in through the side of the mountain. Correct?
A shot of the door?
Like we can see the door that you said, the adamantium door.
Yeah, you can see that.
I'm just curious if we waited to see when a giant entered to see if we could suss out why he was able to open it, because that would most likely be our escape route, right?
Yeah.
And I always want to figure out how the fuck we're gonna get out.
Mhm. Yeah, you can see that from where you are.
It's all well and good to know how we got in, but or to find out where the conch is, but if we can't get out, it's not really useful.
Yep.
And the other thing is I want to kind of see what that hallway is. The gantry that's on the gantry to the south of us just a little bit. Can I get a better perspective from the edge of this?
No.
No, okay. All right, you drowse. Think amongst yourselves. I gotta pee.
All right.
I guess Necro would have also seen this adjacent office that is off the room with a slave wheel. There is a fire giant in it. That is That's dealing with some bookkeeping. Looks like there's a big table that it's seated at that's drinking some beer. Seems to be a little bit concerned right now. So the potential for reinforcements in this room exists.
The potential for reinforcements.
Rather than just the 2 ogres. Is what
It looks like there's another hallway down to the south, too.
Yes. I would say that Necro probably couldn't see down there from her.
Based on the angle, because I was just going to the corner.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Perfect. Well, when Necro returns, are you gonna keep going, Necro, or are you gonna keep?
No. All we were doing was going to see what was there, and then we were gonna go back along the gantries.
Yeah. So you stealth back to them and let the 2 of them know what you've seen.
I wouldn't mind, whilst I'm in the stealth mode, of seeing if I can go a little further, if you don't mind, to that southern hallway there.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so I will re-roll stealthy.
Sure.
Who died?
Oh yeah, we're good.
No one died.
Oh, good. All right.
34.
34?
I believe so. 18
Yo,
16.
lucky. Okay, and what are these guys? Okay, interesting. So you stealth to the southern hallway and all seems well. There is a portcullis that is in the way, so you cannot pass through.
Oh, okay.
All right.
The hallway is blocked, but you do see that down at the end of the hallway there is a slave that is locked in an iron pen. Seems to be asleep, gratefully sprawled on his back. And as you return to your friends, the monsters, the hounds that were chasing the ball, are sniffing the air.
Ooh,
interesting.
Twist.
I will stealthily run back there.
You do. You meet your friends again.
Can you throw a smell, Justin, like you did last time?
What's this?
Throw a sound?
Or it was a sound. Sorry, I thought it was a smell.
Yeah. Well, I can do something, but what are we gonna do if I ask
it's
that?
fine.
Then they're gonna know.
So there's a prisoner at the end of that hall. Is that what you saw?
Yes.
That's bizarre. In a place full of torture chambers and all this kind of shit, a single prisoner.
Really, I gotta store them somewhere.
Yeah, but one?
No, but we couldn't see the rest of the room.
Then why not torture him or just kill him?
No, but that's what I'm saying. That may be a whole room filled
okay.
with cells.
Oh, okay.
Because I could only see the one thing, right? I couldn't see how far down it goes.
See, okay. Still seems weird to me, but okay, maybe I'm overthinking it. Oh, sorry, was that 21?
Was what, 21?
What you just revealed? I missed.
Yes. That is an overseer's office. A fire giant sits behind a desk doing paperwork.
That's funny to think of. Okay. Sorry, I thought he was talking about next to the door. That's south, because I was in the bathroom. Okay, guys. I don't know. What's the plan?
I don't think we'll be able to rest here if those dogs are sniffing.
Well, I don't think we can
They'll find
move
us
if those
eventually.
dogs are sniffing either. Where the buckets go, we can see them being pulled by the wheel, but we can't see beyond that.
I mean, the wheel would kind of impede your vision. You can see short ways. There's another room just beyond, kind of a borehole through the wall that allows the buckets to travel through, and a great light and heat emerges from that hole.
That's
additionally, there's a gantry kind of on the south side of that borehole. Like there's a doorway with a platform where someone can walk.
So we came in at sort of the perfect spot, 17, with one of those things. So far this is an okay approach. I guess it's either going downstairs or making a stand in one of these rooms. And I don't see one of these rooms being a benefit, so maybe we do try to take those stairs.
I think so too.
From
And how do they get up? How would the dogs get up to the gantry there?
There's stairs. What do you mean? Which
Are
gantry?
there stairs? Those stairs that lead down from the gantry in the south. Do they go down to the main floor of 14?
Yes.
Or do they go on one more?
No, they go down to the main floor.
Oh,
That's
okay.
to get up onto the catwalk, basically.
Correct. Yes.
I see. Okay, so it'd be better to go 14 and then go north and try to sneak around to that hallway there, I think.
Well, that's where the giants and the ogres were arm wrestling and shit.
Yeah, no, that's a bad area.
That area.
Yep.
So
All
then-
the areas are bad.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just where we want to be. And we don't know what that small hallway is
Promising.
to the south. And we don't know what that hallway is to the south of the stairs that are leading down yet. We can't see that.
That's where the prison is.
Oh, okay.
That's what he was talking about. He
I
saw
see.
one prisoner in in prison, but there's an iron portcullis that blocks the way between the gantry and that hallway.
But I
Okay.
did not see a lever or anything.
No, you did not.
Pull the lever. Wrong lever.
I love that.
Me too.
I will just tell you now at this point, because you've encountered a couple of portcullises, and they're very large. It seems like these are the kinds of doorways that would be open the same way that a giant would open any door with just a hand.
Yeah.
They pose a problem to you because you're very small.
Relatively speaking.
Sure, you're medium-sized.
I'm good with going back in the buckets and seeing where it goes.
I think right around this, I think that's probably where they get dumped.
Maybe this is where we go by foot.
Because if you look at the map, based on where it is,
Yeah.
it sort of it just looks like it's just going to go straight up. And she said it's a lot of light coming from there.
Does anybody speak ogre?
No.
Well, that'd be giant. So
That'd be giant. So I speak giant.
we all do, I'm pretty sure.
I
I
don't.
don't think
Well,
I do. Okay. I want to try something. How do you feel about sneaking through to the west here, past 20, if I can cause a distraction?
I think that's a bad idea. Because I don't think there's anything beyond 20 but fire and death.
No, but just walking past. If we can create a distraction where we walk past.
I just don't think it's fire and death.
So then what do you suggest then? We go right, it's fire and death, then we go left, it's fire and death. Which one's-
know.
Okay, well, we got to go somewhere because we can't stay cooped up here. Those dogs are sniffing.
Yeah, we need to think of where the con should be. Sort of
Well,
just a big fucking...
I don't think it's on this level.
I don't think so either.
No.
Right? Because we're still
Yeah.
a level or two up from, like, with launch.
Well, put it this way. The only place we do know that there is a... well, we know there's the elevator that goes down one more level.
Right.
Right. And when you saw that lower level, there were dwarves down there as well, wasn't
There
there?
was an entry to the west into the Great Hall,
Which
and
is...
then into the north there was a mess hall with a whole shit ton of goblins.
Yeah, we don't want to go to the next
No, we
one.
don't. Okay.
I think, gentlemen, we're gonna leave it here for tonight.
I think that's a good idea! Because I have no fucking idea what to do, and I can just look at a map for a week.
It'll
Rock and
give you,
hard place.
it'll give you a little while to
Absorb it and
ponder.
consider and think of all the options that we have, because there's so many options. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight! That's right. This was the Iron Storm, aka Yak Attack, Part 2. These guys don't know that joke yet. When you're done, go watch the intro video. You'll get it. Because I fucked with the credits. It's quite funny. Yeah, so this was Iron Storm Part 2. Next week we are concluding this mini campaign.
Hopefully.
With Chapter 3. Yeah, well, I mean, if it ends up going, well, we can fit it in somewhere. Maybe we'll do an off Wednesday stream, or maybe we'll just push it a bit, or I don't know, something like that. We'll figure it out. There's
Yeah,
plenty of
I don't want to
story.
rush you guys, but it might take you more than one episode to figure out what's going on.
Oh, you just wait. Now that I'm thinking about this for the week, I'll have my idea ready, and I'll fail the roll on the first go, and I'll die.
TPK.
Sounds like a plan.
But yes, thank you guys so much for hanging out and having a blast with us tonight. Of course, the stream is not over until we reward the end game XP, and tonight I would like to reward it to the very fabulous Mr. Rich. Oh, what's your last name? Brown? I haven't heard it in so long. But Ignis Pyre on Discord. Because you offered a ton of fantastic suggestions. You were the first person to mention that it might be a golem, like a giant iron golem, which ended up being a colossus. And a ton of other great suggestions. Mine is the last one, which seemed to be a hindrance to us, but I'm glad I didn't read it out loud because I'm reading it now and it seems evil. But thank you, Rich, and congratulations. You get 1 XP. Well done. Thank you to everybody who hung out and chatted and kept us entertained and interested and gave great ideas. You guys are a blast to do this with. And of course, thank you to Joe for running this fantastic little story for us.
You're so welcome. My pleasure.
It's always a blast to get the real meat of a hearty system like this, rules as written and all that kind of stuff. And thank you to my co-players for being so cute and all that kind of stuff. You get a ding bell. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a fantastic weekend and the rest of the week. And as always, we will see you next Wednesday. As Joe always likes to say,
it's my bedtime.
It's her bedtime. Good night. And